Go on, mate.
Yeah, I hope this is a part of the calm before the storm.
Yes, let's hope so. Let's hope so. I think from from our point of view, when you look at that team today, mate, it's a positive one, isn't it?
For what we hear, and most of the team, all the team who face coronavirus, and the team members, actually they're suffering, especially in result for the coming games. But hopefully, if this team we see the lines up is ready, I'm not worried much. Clark, Hayden, Shelby, they are expert players. They can cover the back areas. I am happy Richie. يعني he will come. يعني I think he ready to play full game, and I hope to see. I think he will be the man of the match today, in my expectation. I hope to see crosses over cross to the forward players. Also, I would like to see. I saw Richie interview last night. He mentioned something about that they get relief for 1 week extra for preparation, and I would like to see that on the field. I want to see productive movement without ball, and we get the spirit of the last 2 or 3 minutes from Crystal Palace game, and to see it tonight against West Bromwich Albion.
Yep. Okay. Good stuff. Apologies to those watching. There's been an issue with StreamYard, and apparently the broadcast wasn't going out onto YouTube, but it's fixed now. So welcome to everybody who is watching at home. And we've already spoke to Spenny and to Sean. Sean brought up mental health, especially after what we've seen, unfortunately, unfurl with one of our supporters this week on social media. And I've said, yeah, we're always happy to talk about the mental health issue on here, and anybody wants to talk, pick up the phone to somebody, or if you feel that somebody at home needs needs a bit of help, or you haven't spoken to them in a while, just phone a friend. It's the campaign we did last month, and something which we will always continue to push. The lineup, just for those of you who are joining us now, is there for all to see. Carl Darlow, Emil Kraft, Isaac Hayden, Kieran Clark, Jamal Lewis, John Joe Shelby, Sean Longstaff, Matt Ritchie, Miguel Almiron, Joe Linton and Callum Wilson. And on the bench, we've got Langley, Matty Longstaff, Andy Carroll, Dwight Gale, Hendrick, Yedlin and Murphy. So, Rich, good afternoon, mate. Coming to you now. Your take on that lineup, Rich?
I think it's pretty much the strongest lineup we could put out with everything that's gone on the last few weeks with coronavirus. I like the back four. As I said, picks itself really. I would hope that Kraft starts at right back and they don't put Hayden there because Hayden's more natural centre half out of the two of them. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be the 4-4-2. Possibly they could go 4-3-3 with who they've actually got in the front six. You could possibly go with Wilson through the middle, Joe Linton and Almiron on either side of them at the top. Either that or they'll go with Almiron on the right and probably Richie on the left. But I think, as I said, with all the stuff that's gone on the last couple of weeks with the COVID outbreak, I think the squad is pretty strong, to be fair. There's the one under 23 on the bench, Langley. So obviously it looks as though Gillespie's been struck down by it.
We've lost Rich. No. Gremlins on his server. I wouldn't care as well. You had fantastic reception. Martin, will come to you while Rich sorts his technical issues out. Steve Bruce, you were on Steve Bruce Watch again. What did he have to say?
Nothing really. Obviously, they asked him about coronavirus. He said he's not going to use it as an excuse. However, it's been hard. So it was a half-assed attempt at not using it as an excuse. Similar to what the lads on the panel have said so far, Steve, it's probably the strongest squad we can put out. Live score have us down as playing a 4-4-2 with Hayden and Clark as the centre-backs, and then Kraft and Lewis as the wing-backs. Flat 4-4-2. So I think that's probably more than likely what will happen with Richie in. Glad to see Richie back. But Bruce didn't really say too much. He spent a couple of minutes giving praise to Slaven Bilic Obviously, it's not nice when managers are under pressure, and both teams are looking for a win. He didn't come up with the usual, hopefully we can get a result. It was pretty much just backing up another manager and putting the team out that he could. So nothing major from him. Interestingly, Roy Keane afterwards was quite complimentary of Newcastle. Thought they'd been playing a bit better in recent weeks. Thought Joe Linton is starting to come into it. Thinks 4-4-2 is a better formation for us with the way that Joe Linton can play. So I think that was nice to see. I think that there's a little bit of punditry that can actually see, when we set up right, we can play well, as we did against Palace. So punditry wise, yeah, the usual. It's all about Man U and City now, so we won't listen too much. But yeah, 4-4-2. Glad to see, for me, I'm glad to see Richie back in. I'd like an update on Fraser, though. I'd like to know what's going on with Fraser. Is he part of the...
And ESM. People are mentioning that in the chat. Where is ESM? Yeah. What's going on?
Exactly. So are they part of the COVID bunch? If you look at, obviously, we've got the young lad Langley on the bench. So it looks like defensively is where we've been hit, and the defensive coaches and staff in what we put out there. I suppose Gale back on the bench. At least we've got, a little bit there. Matty Longstaff and Hendrick. So Yedlin back in there. So it's a half decent bench as well for what we've got. So I'm expecting a win today. I'll go with Mr. Penman's famous 3-1. I think one to watch for West Brom is their number 7, Callum Robinson. I like the look at him. I think he's a tasty little player. There's a taste about him, so I think we just need to watch him. But I'm expecting a win.
Okay, good stuff. I'm not sure whether it's a good time to talk to you, Chris, or not. I just heard them say the next station is. So, are you on a watching brief, Chris, or do you want to wait until you get back home?
I can go.
Okay, go for it, man. What's your take on the lineup then?
Oh, I think it's an attacking lineup that we could put out. I'm pleased to see Almiron and Richie back in, we don't have a lot of choices with the COVID people out. But I think this is a good lineup, the best lineup we could put out there. So I'm keen to see what we can do. And this should be an opponent we should be beating the bottom 3. We've always had the difficulties last couple of years with the bottom 3 and done better against the top 3. So we need to get maximum points from the bottom 3 from the promoted clubs last year. So let's get 3 points. Let's come back after a week off.
Okay, mind the gap there, Chris. It's brilliant that you can do that, mate, on phones, isn't it? And get live footage whilst you're travelling around. We'll have to get a roving report from the match once we eventually get back to going to the game. Rich, we'll come back to you, mate. You seem to have a really good connection, but unfortunately we keep losing you. So
I don't know what's going on. I've got a clue what's going on.
If you want to finish off where you were, what your views are on today's game.
It was actually a good cut off, actually, Steve, to be honest. I literally finished saying exactly what I said when it cut out, so you could just move on to whoever it was anyway.
Okay, no problem, mate. Michael Hurst, I will answer your question. I think Joshua will win tonight, but I think it's going to be a bloody battle. I think it'll be a 6 or 7 round stoppage for Joshua, but I do see him winning tonight's fight. But I think it could be a few twists and turns. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joshua on his backside, but I think Joshua will win tonight. I think it'll be an exciting fight. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes until kick-off. And just want to ask the panel as well, has anybody watched the We Are The Geordies film? Hand up if you've watched it. Okay, Spenny, we'll come to you first. What was your views on it, mate, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet?
I was very emotional watching it because it was really, really hit home what it's like going to match and how much I'm missing going to match. Seeing the crowd there, the atmosphere. I think it's one of the probably the best Newcastle film I've seen, like any for a football supporter, because it brought the supporters into the film more than the actors and that. And I saw myself twice on the film as well in the crowd.
Did you?
Right. In the Gallagher then, where the lad with the hat on.
Yeah.
When we stayed up, when we won promotion, we won the championship. Yeah. I was two or three rows behind them.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, Rich, what was your take on We Are The Geordies?
I thought was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was a brilliant representation, a true representation of the fans, not what you see by other like national media or other fan bases and stuff like that. I think it'll give a good insight to those people about what we actually are as a fan base, how loyal we are, what our expectations are for the club. We just want a team that will go out there and perform. And it was lovely the way that every fan who was actually on the show, on the film, was represented. I had a good conversation with Davy Craig on Twitter afterwards, just because his story hit home quite personal to myself, because I'm a full-time carer and my wife's in a very similar situation to him. So it was quite emotional on that front as well, not just on the football side of it, but also as a personal level as well. But it brought back some very, very good memories of the promotion season as well, where I was on certain dates and stuff like that. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend anybody who hasn't seen it to go out and buy it and watch it.
Fantastic. And we'll come to you, Martin, as well. You managed to watch it as well. Similar review I would expect from you as well, mate.
Yeah, I think probably maybe slightly different if you live outside of the country now. Like for me, I suppose it was two sides. It's great to see it, and it reminds you of it reminds me of all the things I miss about home. It's like the likes of heading to the Strawberry, catching up with somebody like Spenny or whoever, and having a bit of crack before the game and after the game. But just seeing a massive black and white everywhere, whereas living in Dublin, there's me and a handful of others that go to the Halfpenny Bridge pub when you can socialise. There's a small Newcastle supporters club in Dublin. So for me, it kind of, in one hand, it makes you quite envious of what lads that live locally have, and that I don't get to come every second week to the game or even just get home. And I think out of the movie itself, obviously, it was sad to see the decline of Rafa when things started to go wrong and we knew he was going to move on. You could see the tone change. But I think a highlight of it all for me was Neil Mitchell and George Mitchell. I thought they were just class. I think George is just a cut above, and the passion that him and Neil have, and I think even the two of them just stepping out and going to the match together is something I miss with the likes of me granddad. Now he's passed, and different bits and pieces. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's quite emotional for me anyway, particularly that don't live at home anymore, because I miss it like mad.
Great stuff. If you haven't seen it, make sure you buy a copy, or you can download it from all your usual streaming services. Well worth a watch. We Are The Geordies. And anything that Wine's ready to go's message board up is good with me. The Mackhams are furious. Obviously, we do TV programmes better than them as well, and films. So there we go. Dodo Bird, I've got to be honest, Dodo Bird has started to send in some absolute classics. If you watched the show earlier in the week with Super Mac and John Gibson, I had two fantastic stories about them, so well worth a watch. I'll not spoil it. Stick that on at some point. Dodo Bird's quotes today. Hi Steve, those of great analytical understanding will appreciate the following Chinese proverb, which emphasizes the need for clear, specific instruction, preparation and courage when going into battle. The goose that feeds with the hen never drinks from an empty well. Never more so does this apply to Newcastle's challenge today against West Brom. Converted back into Chinese, it reads, Aki Oki, Niki Naki, Ping Pong. I'm sure that can't be right. Wouldn't it be great to hear Steve Bruce bellowing this out to his players on the touchline today? I tell you what, Dodo, if I did comments of the week, you've had three on the trot. Well done. That's your own personal hat trick this week. Brilliant. Spenny, let's go for predictions. The teams are on the pitch and the managers are in the dugout. So let's go for your prediction.
I'm feeling confident today. I'm going to go for 3-1. Mr. Penman's score.
3-1. Stewie Penman's be down the bookies if they've got one where he lives, and putting that on as we speak. Chris, prediction 2. That was 2. 2-0. 2-1.
2-1.
Thanks, mate. We're going for subliminal messages and signs now from Chris. Sean, prediction for the day, mate?
Well, I've just looked at West Brom's recent form, and they've only won one in, I think, the last 11. So I'm confident. Let's go for 2-0.
Okay, 2-0. Rich?
Exactly the same. I was going to say exactly the same. 2-0 to Newcastle.
Yep, I've gone 2-0 as well. Go on then, Pete. Give us your prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0.
Ooh.
3-0 Newcastle.
3-0. Okay. Al Walid. 2-1 to
2-1
Newcastle. And Martin, you've gone 3-1, yeah?
Yep, 3-1, Matt.
Okay, so everyone's quite confident. We're just going to rush through the teams again as they go through all the formalities before kick-off. And it's Carl Darlow, Emil Kraft, Isaac Hayden, Kieran Clark, Jamal Lewis, John Joe Shelby, Sean Longstaff, Matt Ritchie, Miguel Almiron, Joe Linton and Callum Wilson. And on the bench we have Langley, Longstaff, Carroll, Gale, Hendrick, Yedlin and Murphy. And West Brom line up like that. So let's hope today that Joe Linton and Callum Wilson can play as well as they did against Crystal Palace, Spenny, because I think that's what we're hoping, isn't it? That this formation, the 4-4-2, is going to start producing some goals, and we know West Brom do concede a lot of goals.
Like looking at the bench, looking at the team he's got on there, the team's there for goals, isn't it? Regardless of Fraser being injured, like you've got Gale and Carroll on the bench, which I'm pleased about. Nice to see Gale back. He might remain as well. I am confident. Yes, I haven't seen West Brom play this season though. I've heard little bits they've been unlucky in some of the games, like, but they do score goals as well, don't they, West Brom?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Joe Linton and Callum Wilson have got an opportunity to form a good partnership, and if as I say, as long as Joe Linton is at the races like he was in that last game, then we might see some shoots of positivity. We might see him, certainly start paying back some of his huge fee.
I'll just hope Richie has a stormer, because when Richie has a stormer, Newcastle have a stormer. And it goes flying, because them crosses go in all over.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, just about to kick off now, mate. So hopefully you're going to get back in time for the game. But hoping that Joe Linton and Callum Wilson can do what they did in the last game, team up well and lead Newcastle to victory. Can you hear us, Chris? Oh, you can't speak. Can you? No? Okay, Sean. As the players take the knee and we're getting ready for kick-off, we're just hoping that Joe Linton and Callum Wilson, I suppose, can really start to hit the ground running early on here. And as Spenny says, Matt Ritchie's a big, he's a big player in these kind of games. And if he can create the chances, then Wilson and Joe Linton hopefully can finish.
Yeah, it's.
We're in. Yes! Get in!
Come on! 22 seconds. 22 seconds.
Oh, get in.
What a goal!
Get in there!
That's going to be the fastest goal of the season, no?
Unacceptable.
I tell you what.
You should come to me more often, Steve.
I tell you what, Sean. We definitely will. I tell you what, and what a ball that was by Joe Linton.
Oh, that was incredible.
That was a great win by Wilson. He plays the ball to Joe Linton, who then side-foots it past three players to the waiting Almiron. And Almiron, what a finish that was. But that was superb.
How do you see?
That was absolutely
It was like
superb.
watching Pirlo in his prime.
I've got to be honest, that was absolutely superb. That really was. And fair play to Joe Linton. That was
every penny of that 40 million.
Side foot. That's a great finish.
I tell you what. Honestly, that is the sign of a somebody who knows what he's doing, and that's something which I've never, I didn't think I would be saying. But Joe Linton certainly improving, Sean. That was the point.
You know what? Against Crystal Palace, that was the turning point for me, and he's been here for about a season and a half, and I think the consensus would be over that time he's been pretty shit. But there's definitely a player in there, and when we scouted him, they would have known that. And he's starting to look like someone that, if his confidence is high and he can deliver balls like that, he looks like a quality signing. But it's just consistency. I mean, that's a game in a couple of minutes now. But credit where credit's due, really. He had a great game against Crystal Palace. could have been man of the match, and that pass there was just fantastic. So fair play to the lads. Like, I'm actually really happy for him because week on week he gets loads of stick, and yeah, really happy for him.
Yeah, fantastic. Rich, what a start that was, by the way. What a
That
start.
was a hell of a start. That the ball by Joe Linton just dissects the three defenders and takes them all out of the game. It just, you know, the way Almiron opened his body and just placed to the far corner, it was just a lovely, lovely finish. The one thing I'd like to hope now is I think it looks like West Brom are going to be there for the taking. I hope the early goal doesn't go against us. I feel like we did against Man United. Obviously, I know the opposition is not as strong as Man United.
Oh, he's gone again. Pete, great start, mate.
Fantastic start, just what you want. You know what? That pass from Joe Linton was fantastic. You couldn't get a more pinpoint pass than that. And the finish from Almiron first time is underrated as well. It's a fantastic goal all round for them. But, you know, Rich has made a good point. You know, we did the same against Man United, got the early goal, and then we kind of just sat back. We cannot afford to do that in this game today against this side. We've already seen the first 22 seconds that this defence is there to be got at. So what we need to do, if anything, this should give us the confidence to really kick on and try and attack this team today. Because if there'll be opportunities in this game, without any doubt, and if we can get another 1 or 2 goals, that could just end the game as a contest there and then. So we need to be taking the opportunity to do that today. But yeah, really good, assured start to the game. And you know, Callum Wilson, with the joy he had to earn the goal or earn the position, he's got to be thinking, I've got some goals in here today for me, providing he gets a service. So yeah, fantastic start all round.
Yeah, fantastic. Al-Walid, great start to the game, and 4.5 minutes in now, and Newcastle winning 1-0 against West Brom.
Actually, I'm happy we see Almiron get his smile back, and I like when he play forward to the right, because before when Saint-Maximin play, he play behind Maximin. This is the right position for him. The pass from Jewelton, it's a brilliant pass. Nobody see how the way he play it. It's really pro. I think maybe this is the right place for him, right position, and I hope this triangle, this trio will continue improving the understanding and show us not just, we didn't want to see just depend on this goal. We want to see more of this coming on.
Yeah, good stuff. Martin, what a start. We hope that this partnership would begin to flourish. We saw some shoots of that in the win at Palace, but that was just a superb movement. Great work from Wilson, chasing a lost cause right early on. But then that wonderful ball by Joe Linton for Almiron, who finished it with a plum. Like, it was a great goal.
Yeah, and in fairness, we can come out the blocks really well. I think, you know, Rich made a good point. I think what we've got to do now is go at them. Like, these are here for the taking. So if, you know, go at them, go get the second, get the third, get the fourth, whatever we can get out of this, get the goal difference up. And, you know, with all due respect to West Brom, put a nail in their coffin that puts one team out the way early on in the season. It's one less to worry about on a relegation matter. So go out there, don't take the foot off the gas. You know, a great build-up play, shows what we can play like. And I think for me, I think we play a hell of a lot better in a 4-4-2 than we do anything else than we do when we play with a 5. So great start. One of the quickest goals I'd say this season. So let's go out there now and just go get them. Go at them.
Spenny, the early signs in this game are that Newcastle are, you know, looking as good as, you know, if not better than they did against Crystal Palace. There seems to be a bit of a determination amongst the players. There's been a meaty challenge in the midfield there from Sean Longstaff. Shelvey is running around and buzzing and pulling the strings, it's the good Shelvey we're seeing today at the moment. And yeah, there seems to be a bit of positivity within the ranks, and they're backing each other up, Spenny.
Yes, they're playing as a team, finally. Playing as a formation that they should be playing as well. I'm an old president. I like 4-4-2. I always like two strikers on the top. You know what I mean? It shows you're going to attack the game, you're going to score, and all this negative defensive crap. I don't like it. But like I said, I'm out with a milk armor on scoring. We have a big confidence in the lad again. You know what I mean? Because he's been lacking a bit of confidence. And that's all the way he said it. It's nice to see him smile again. It is. Because he loves Newcastle. You can tell by the players which players love Newcastle, and he does love Newcastle.
Yeah, good stuff. Chris, are you available to speak? Or are you still travelling? Can you speak? No?
Yes.
Yeah, great. I mean, obviously, you haven't seen the goal, mate, but good start for Newcastle, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I'm a really big supporter of Almiron, and I know he's been struggling, hasn't been playing, and has gotten that goal drought again. But it's great to see him back on the board, and fantastic assist from Joe Linton. Maybe Joe Linton's not a goal scorer, but he's
the ball.
an assist guy.
So close. Thanks, Chris. So close to taking a 2-0 lead there. But West Brom managed to get the ball back, and they're in possession. Sean, look, it's a great start, and something different about Newcastle at the moment. They definitely seem to be more united.
Absolutely. I don't want to jinx it just yet, but this is the second time on the show, and this is the second time that we've been winning. So I love it. It's fucking fantastic. I want to get on here every single day. But no, it's been really, really good. I watched the West Brom game last week against Crystal Palace, and they were in the game up until the sending off, and then once they got the sending off, they just fell apart. I know that Steve Bruce stuck up for Slavan at the beginning of the match, and I do feel for him a little bit. I don't think there's another manager in the Premier League that could do as well as he's done right now with West Brom. They really haven't got the players to do much. With Dean Garner being on the bench, that kind of surprises me a little bit because he's the main attacking threat for them. But going 1-0 up so early on, it'd be interesting to see what West Brom do. They need the points here, even if it's a 1-1. So at some point they're going to have to come out of defence, and that's going to start to leave gaps there. So I think as soon as that starts happening, and the way we're playing now, this could turn into 3 or 4-0 easily.
Yeah, good stuff. Son of THC, he says, I'm just on audio for the match, you guys, in the Newcastle radio, so just one thing, was Miggy smiling when he scored? Well, yeah, I mean, he was. Look, I think the problem when you score goals, unfortunately these days, is that the automatic celebration is curtailed by a thing called VAR. So it looked it did get looked at. There was potentially a chance that goal could have been chalked off. So I think that was why he looked a bit confused. But he was certainly delighted once the goal was given. There was nothing wrong with it at all. Keith, good afternoon, mate. He says, so pleased for Almiron. That will do his confidence the world of good. And Trechikov says, did Joe Linton's twin brother come back from the international break? We've definitely seen a different Joe Linton this last few weeks. And Paul Gibson, I think you're going too far. Kraft has started like Roberto Carlos, he says. Rich, you're back again, mate.
I don't know what's going on. I think I've got your virgin bug.
I think you must have, mate. You definitely have. Look, it's a positive start, isn't it? I mean, 11 minutes in now, and Newcastle look well up for this.
Yeah, it's funny, as Sean mentioned before, second appearance on, we've started all right, and we've also had quite a bit of the possession as well, which is not what we're renowned for, is it? Obviously, the opposition, as we mentioned before, aren't up the scratch of some of we've had so far this season. But yeah, we look really confident. Funny enough, we actually look fresh. We look like we haven't been struck down by a COVID outbreak within the camp. It's looking promising for the rest of the game. As long as, as we said before, as long as we can keep it up, put the pressure on, and give our goal difference a big boost. This is what West Brom are there for the taking today, and I hope we make the most of it and do it.
Good stuff. Chris is trying. He's on as we can see. He's actually on an overground service down in London. He's trying to get Wembley on. He's trying to get Wembley on his camera. That's why he's now turned around there. Look, he's pointing up in the sky. You must be getting fairly close, mate. He's coming to Wembley now. So for those of you who've never been, this is what it looks like from a distance on a train.
He's like the shittest London tour guide ever, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I'm not. We still can't see it.
No, it's just bridges and flats.
There's nothing there yet, Chris. Chris, are you actually on the right? Are you on the right train, Chris? Oh, look, yes. There. What's that here? Wembley Park. Yes, he is there. He is at Wembley Park. We'll have to keep an eye out for it. We'll keep an eye out for it. And fantastic. Great stuff. Al-Walid, 30 minutes in now. Newcastle still beating West Brom 1-0. We look very good today, don't we? We're definitely up for the game.
Yeah, I think they are ready. But as I said, still now I didn't see maybe just two opportunities. We want to not just lean to the defense. We get lucky to score at the beginning of the game, but we need to keep, as Martin said, we didn't take our foot from the gas.
Good stuff. You're picking up a lot of these English phrases now, Al-Walid. Foot off the gas. Yeah. You would never have said that when we first met online, mate.
I know. Thanks to you guys.
Oh, it's good. Pete, great start, mate. And Newcastle, it would be nice to get a second goal, wouldn't it? To just to ease the nerves a bit, because when it's 1-0, it's always a bit nervous.
Yeah, and I think we need one. It's weird to say, but we do, because we could potentially end this game as a contest. To be honest, if you look at that 2 or 3 minutes, we're just starting to play the ball needlessly back to the defence, try and keep holding that possession. But what we're doing, we're inviting that pressure on, and we're very good at that, in inviting our pressure on unnecessarily. So we need to keep our foot on the gas. We need to keep attacking. We need to keep pushing West Brom backwards. And if we do that, we'll keep creating chances, because, like I said, their defence is shaky as anything at the moment. But someone made the point about Almiron and whether he was happy or not scoring a goal. Look, Almiron's happy when he's playing and when we're playing attacking football. It's as simple as that. He loves the city. He loves playing for the club. But he wants to be playing attacking football, and he wants to be able to showcase his abilities of why we paid 16 million for him. So, he was right to be frustrated early on in the season, because he wasn't playing when he should have been. And, he wants to be playing football on the front foot. So, he's been allowed to do that in the last, well, certainly in this game so far, but he was able to do it in the Palace game, although it wasn't his best game. And as long as he's able to do that, he'll be able to show his abilities, and we'll be happy with that. But I'm just worried about just allowing West Brom a little bit more time in their attacking areas, because we're going to give them needless confidence. Really, go on, mate. Go on, lad.
Oh. Newcastle coming close again. Almiron coming down the left-hand side and testing the goalkeeper. Yeah, go on, Pete.
No, I was going to say that's the example right there. Is if we are positive, if we look forward and look to really press them and attack them, we've got the pace and the quality to really cause some damage there. That was three passes. Joelinton, Richie, and Almiron's in, and it's that simple. They haven't got a clue. West Brom were conceding goals for fun in the Championship last season. They've not really improved it, and they can see the shed load of goals again. We need to take advantage of that. Just my final point: if you look at last season, it's these type of games that we didn't pick up enough points from. If you go back to January, where we drew in that horrible game with Norwich, who were rock bottom at the time. It was at 0-0, and they probably had the better of the game, and probably even should have won. It's these type of games that we need to put points up on, because we can't bank on beating the top teams to gain our 40 plus points every season. We need to be beating these teams below us or around us. So we have to win this game today.
Yeah, still 1-0 to Newcastle. 17 minutes played. Newcastle 1-0 up after 22 seconds. And fantastic work again from Joe Linton a couple of minutes ago there with the ball through for Almiron, who tested the keeper again. Could have made it 2-0. But look, hey, it's a positive start. Martin, just in the chat there, you're just saying about Lewis. He's not going across the halfway line, is he?
No, Spenny was just saying, are we playing with a 3? But I think it looks more flat. I'd love to see Lewis get further up the pitch, because I don't think we're really seeing the player we got from Norwich just yet. He doesn't, if you look at the heat maps from last season when he was at Norwich, he was much further up the field. He was playing more of a left wing than a left back. So I'd like to see him obviously further up, but with Richie in there, he's probably not going to be. But I think one of the things I think with today's game is obviously it's lashing rain. The pitch is wet. You've got pace with, Wilson, Almiron in particular, Joe Linton. Like, if you can get another couple of balls like that where they can run at the defence, West Brom have got to make a tackle. So you're either going to pick up yellows or you're going to get a straight red somewhere. So I wouldn't be afraid to ping those balls in and just run at them, because I think we'll get some good ground off that. So... and take the shots again. Pete said, like, the ground is wet, so stop firing the ball. The ball's wet, the ground's wet. Slippy ball, team out of confidence. West Brom shipped a load of goals. Just start firing at them.
Yeah, I'm going to put this. I'm just going to put something up here that Andrea shared in our WhatsApp group today, and I'll start with you with this, Martin. It was quite an interesting graphic. Hold on a second. I'll just take Paul's off. And by the way, Paul, pass on our best to your dad. I hope everything's okay with him. What a match to take the laptop in, mate. Fantastic. This is how the proportion of touches pressured in the highlighted zone have changed. So this is comparing the Premier League teams from 2019-20 and 2020-21 season. And I found this fascinating, Martin. I don't know about you, but surprise, surprise! Look where Newcastle are on that.
Yeah, we haven't changed.
Yeah, I mean, it was fascinating when people who do these kind of things obviously have, take a lot of time and a lot of analysis. But I mean, we haven't changed at all, have we?
No, and I think there are people that will continue to make the whole Bruce Rafa thing. I think that again we've said on loads of these shows, the difference was when we played a 5 with Rafa, you counter-attacked. And we knew that we could do that. We've not been able to do that. So I think statically, the difference. I mean, we look at the game there a few weeks back. We'd under 100 touches for the entire game compared to Chelsea's 500 and something first half. So we know we're not. Go on. We know crap ball. We know we're not. We're not going to set the world on fire. But I think we do, again, I think we play completely differently as a 4-4-2 than we do as a 5-3-1. Joe Linton, I think, is, that position just behind Wilson, a little bit of pressure off being the main striker, and Almiron there coming in behind him. I think, is it a front 3, a front 2? But it's interchangeable. And I think, interestingly, the last couple of seasons, we've not had that movement, and I think we said it on one of the shows a few weeks back. We don't interchange, we don't interchange the wingers. We don't see ASM and Almiron dropping from side to side. We've been very static, and I think that screenshot shows that we've not really changed our game in 2 seasons.
Yeah, it was interesting that, Spenny. I know you're not you won't have seen it, so I'll show you it again there. But it's just the proportion of touches that Newcastle, have had. It's not changed from either season. And I think Martin says, I mean, people will always compare, for whatever reason, will always compare Rafa and Steve Bruce. But for me, there isn't any comparison at all. But look, Bruce is getting the results at the moment, and that's all we can ask for.
End of the day, that's what I was just going about to say. He's getting the results. That's all that matters, really. Doesn't matter. You can put as many graphs as you want. We'll be bottom of every graph. To say the truth, the way we play. But as long as we get them 3 points at the end of the day, that's what matters, isn't it, mate?
At the end of the day, it's a results game. So whether he plays 5, whether he plays 4, if he picks up 3 points, all the season is based on his results and the 3 points. Nothing in the middle of it matters. It matters to us because we want to see them set up right. We want to attack right. We want to see goals. We want to see flair. As Pete said, get Almiron playing right. Put him in a position where he can show his 16 million quid's worth. Set the team up right. But at the end of the day, if Bruce sets it up wrong 5 times in a row, we pick up 3 points here and 3 in Palace. Are we going to complain? Probably not.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's a results game, and we're getting the results at this moment in time. And I think I've always said as well, and I think this is the thing with Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce, for me, isn't a great coach. I think what Steve Bruce is he's a man manager. Do you know what I mean? He's one of the lads. He's always been able to, he's been in and around football all of his life, so he knows what it's like in the dressing room. He probably knows every skive. He knows he knows everything about it, and he's probably such a good man manager. But he's just, coaching wise, he leaves a lot to be desired, and I think that stands out. But Sean, we'll come to you because Chris is obviously moving from place to place. So it's just. I mean, I saw you studying the thing that Andre had stuck in the WhatsApp group. It's made for just I'm always fascinated by stuff like that, and it just shows that Newcastle just generally haven't really changed at all.
No, absolutely not. I think one point I was going to mention, it's a little bit off topic here, but with Saint-Maximin being out of the team, I know when he signed his new contract, ever since he's come back, he hasn't really seen on the ball at all. Do you think, with the way we're playing now with a 4-4-2, do you think when Saint-Maximin is fit, he goes back into the team, or do you think we keep it as it is?
It's a good question, isn't it? Because the same questions being asked about the goalkeeping situation between Dubravka and Darlow, because Darlow has not put a foot wrong. For me, ASM wasn't performing. Was it because he was carrying an injury? Was it because maybe he had the first signs of COVID? Has he got COVID? We don't know. But it's I don't know. Maybe he's for me, I've always said, and look, I only managed at Sunday League level. I managed on a Saturday as well at amateur level, but never got to the extremes of managing at this level. It's picking a team for me. You don't change a winning team. You know what I mean? If it's a team constantly winning, then you don't worry about other teams. You let them worry about you. So for me, ASM wouldn't come back in. He'd be on the bench, and what a sub to have to bring on. And then he gets his chance if there's an injury and you can play it. But you stick with a formation that wins games, Sean. That would be my view. I don't know what your view is.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, Ming, at the start of the season, he wasn't coming on until about the 70th minute, and now he's coming on and he's looking alert. He's looking bright. I think that's the way to go about it, to be honest with you. I mean, the 2 games that I've been on the show against Crystal Palace and today against West Brom, well, you wouldn't know that we're missing him or Fraser at all, to be honest with you. We look really, really sharp. It's 1-0, and 1-0 was a precarious scoreline, to be honest. I mean, we could do with a second goal. But no, I mean, if he comes back, I think, like anybody playing for Newcastle, they have to deserve their place in the starting lineup.
Yeah, I agree. Zubair, good afternoon to you, mate. Zubair appears on the documentary that we've done, and as I say, I've watched the final cut now. Really happy with it. We're just waiting for a copyright permission to have a song played on the documentary. But Zubair he plays his partner. Thank you for him. He says, "Why are we inviting pressure? It's like a boxer when they see their opponent on the ropes. You have to go for the kill. They are there for the taking, and we would regret it if we lose this." Great point, Zubair. And I want to know who your prediction is for tonight, mate. I know you're a big boxing fan like myself. I've gone for Joshua 6th round or 7th round stoppage. I think it could be. I think he could be on his backside at one point. I think it's going to be a bloody battle that tonight, mate. So I'd be interested to know what you think. Spenny's gone for 5th round. Martin, we'll come to you, mate. You're in Chris's corner, underneath the logo. So we'll come to you now. Yeah, just picking up on Sean's, picking up on what Sean was saying. With ASM, I mean, would you bring ASM? Would you bring ASM straight back in? I mean, if Newcastle go on to win today's game and back-to-back wins against what you would say are relegation rivals, I suppose, would you bring ASM back in and alter the formation?
For me, no. I don't think I think he was out of form, and he hasn't played well since he got the new deal. For me, with the team, if a team is picking up points and you're getting wins, I want the team to gel. So for me, I want the same players. I want the consistency, because I think the more the players that 11 play together, the 2-3 subs, the closer that 15 are, the better the consistency, the more the understanding gels, the better the front three play together, or front two, or whatever it happens to be. So for me, it's all about the consistency. And I want to keep those players. So for me, probably even to a point at the minute, bring it back. Do we bring back Dubravka? He's still number one keeper, but I think Darlow doesn't deserve to lose it. I think Darlow is playing really well and has done his piece. So the shirt for me has to be earned. It's got to be earned at training, and it's got to be earned if you're not in the 11 when you come on as a sub, that you're putting your graft in. So for me, the team has to stay with the winning 11.
Well, I've got to say about that bit, because I didn't have a talk about that. This formation this formation is ASM's formation. He's been playing out the position, just down from the strike to what Joe Linton is playing right now. I just thought he was playing like that. The manager put him in that formation. For me, if Rich has a storm today and we win, we keep it in the team. But if he doesn't, I think we should have ASM back on.
Fair enough, mate. Good point. I'm a bigger fan of Richie, I've got to be honest, than I am ASM. I don't think that's controversial. His work rate, he's a 7 out of 10. If we could find a way to play them, both in the team, I think it would be massively beneficial. I think if you could play ASM and Richie, I've always thought Richie would, for some reason, make a great centre midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Like a David Batty role, somebody in there who, he can get stuck in. He can be bark and shout orders, but he's also somebody who can pick a pass. And I just think he'd be wonderful, even just somebody sitting in front of the back four. But it's it's all about opinions. It's all about opinions. And luckily we don't get paid to make that decision. It's down to Steve Bruce at this moment in time. But Spenny, good point, mate. And as I say, that's what it's all about. Rich, where do you stand on this? ASM? I mean, would you bring him back in? Newcastle still winning 1-0, by the way. Half an hour gone.
He's a potential match winner for us. He's won us so many games, especially last season. However, since he signed his new contract, he hasn't really put in a performance. But as we've already discussed as a collective, hasn't been because he's been playing out of position. Has he been carrying that knock? It's a tough one to say, but I think it's as you said, you don't change a winning team. So if we win this game again and everyone plays well, and he can't walk automatically back in the team. I think one thing that a lot of us forget when we'll talk about Richie's, as in where he plays, when he first joined us, he played on the right. So, there's another alternative for us. Everyone seems to think now either, where is he going to fit on the left somewhere? He played for us on the right during the Championship season. So he's got that versatility where he could move back over there. Or, as you said, Steve, he could probably play in that centre midfield. He can, he's not afraid to put his foot in. He's in the middle of the park. He'd be able to, bounce a few orders around everybody, keep them on the toes and stuff like that, and break the play up. So there's plenty of versatility there from Richie. And to be fair, there's something time he keeps his place and he keeps playing well.
Yeah, Newcastle again on the attack. Was a corner from Shelby. Joe Linton with a header, which was then fell to, I think it was Isaac Hayden on the edge of the box, who tried a rather ambitious bicycle kick, but unfortunately came to nothing. So the ball's back now with Darlow. Newcastle still winning 1-0. Mark Byers makes a good point, saying that Richie would play the Rob Lee role well. That's what I was trying to say, I think he'd be great in that little role, and honestly, for me, Richie reminds me so much of other great players that we've had like that. David Batty was one. I can think going even further back, David McCreary or John Anderson. I know John Anderson was a right back, but he's a similar kind of player. You get 100% out of these people. Kieran Clark's another one. If you had a team of 10 Kieran Clarks with the same kind of effort and desire, then I think you go a long way with that kind of commitment. You need that kind of commitment from people. Albalid, ASM, would you bring him back in?
Actually, yeah, but the problem is for me, it's from Steve Bruce himself. He always extra careful.
Go on, go
Oh,
on.
got a chance. Oh,
Oh,
Joe Linton cutting inside.
Yeah.
Took it
Size
past the
40
defender.
again.
Yeah, he tried to beat Johnston at the near
Yeah.
post, but Johnston could get it. I think it's gone behind for a corner. To be honest, Newcastle took a quick free kick. There was a foul on the halfway line. The ball found its way to Joe Linton on the left-hand side, and he stopped, took the defender on with ease. Stopped, checked,
Ball from Richie.
give himself plenty of time, and then just
He's
hit it with
got
the
to
right foot.
pass that. Just,
Yeah,
got to pass
Wilson
that
wide
long stuff.
open.
He's acknowledged his mistake as well. He's apologised, and to be
He's got to
honest,
put that to Longstaff.
he should have put it to Longstaff. Yeah, he's apologised. Anyway, Newcastle got a corner out of it. We'll stay with a corner, Al Walid, before we'll come to you. Shelby with a corner at the Leazer's end. Poor corner, to be honest, and easily cleared by West Brom. But yeah, ASM, sorry, Al Walid.
Steve Bruce, he always extra careful. Usually, when we expect the lineup, I notice there is extra player should be in the front or one position in the front, but no, we see him in with the defense assignment. For example, like Almiron, he put him behind Saint-Maximin. No doubt, Saint-Maximin is the best player in Newcastle, I believe. Most skillful player. But the thing is, as long as Steve Bruce just putting one player, I mean extra player in defense, so he depend on Saint-Maximin at beginning of the season. He did great in some games, but the other teams, they know the Saint-Maximin, he's the key. And Saint-Maximin playing hard ball, just dribbling. And I think the goal against Burnley, he can't repeat it every time. So most of the players, other teams, they focus how to stop Saint-Maximin, and we notice him many games. He is limping because he tried to dribble among strong defense players on the other team, and he get injury many times. So the players you mentioned, like Richie, Almiron, they more play easy ball more than Saint-Maximin. Saint-Maximin will be great if the extra player of Steve Bruce become more forward, like Saint-Maximin and Almiron, both if they have forward playing, they will work better together rather than just put Saint-Maximin on the front alone and expecting him to do his magic every time.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis has gone into the referee's book. Had a little bit of an altercation with a G. Little bit of to and fro and cuddling and dancing, but yeah, both he's gone into the referee's notebook. Pete, yeah, the ASM thing is interesting that Sean mentioned there, and I think he does split opinions a little bit. I think.
Well, look, for me, in terms of ability, ASM is way above and beyond Matt Ritchie. However, Matt Ritchie does the job and does the business that ASM can't, and that's from a systematic point of view. He can play in the system. He can get forward. He can get back. He can support the defence. I think the thing that's missing with ASM is that he hasn't got a defensive-minded fullback that's behind him. So, particularly when he plays on the left, you've got two players on the left-hand side in Lewis and ASM that both like to get forward, and both defensively aren't very good, aren't the strongest, and that's where gaps like form. If you look at the Brighton game, Brighton absolutely destroyed us down on the left-hand side because both players are not very defensive-minded. And a lot of teams have tried to play down that side because they know that's a way in. Whereas if you put Richie playing there today, just shores everything up. What it does, it gives Lewis the license to try and get forward and try and support the attack, knowing that he's got a defensive-minded winner that will cover him. And I think that's the big difference. With regards to who I would have at the moment, I think we need Richie more in the structure of this team, and I think it works better. Now, ASM, if he was playing for a Tottenham, for example, or a Chelsea or a team that are further up, are going to spend probably 60-70% of the game in the opposition's half, you'd see him perform. You'd see him perform and really unleash his ability. But in this team, in this Newcastle team, he cannot play to his maximum because of the type of system and the type of football that we play. It doesn't allow him to play to the best of his ability. And that's just the reality of the situation that we're in. So I think that's why Bruce has tried to play him in a number 10. Alongside the striker, to try and free him up to take his defensive responsibilities away. But it just doesn't suit that number 10 position. You look at how sort of Joe Linton's holding up the ball and linking play. You see how Almiron presses and creates chances through the sort of attacking lines. ASM's not that type of player. He's a guy that gets the ball and likes to travel with it. So it just doesn't suit the way we play in that sort of position. But look, long term, we need to find a way of getting him into the team because he's a very, very special player. And like Rich said earlier, he's a match winner. He is a match winner. He wins his games. So you cannot afford to have him on there too long. Would I put him straight back into the team? No, because like you said, Steve, he wasn't playing well before we got injured. Before the Palace game, he wasn't playing well. So, we need to be... The one thing that we need to do is exactly what we've been doing recently. And we had to talk about following the Bradford. We've got to talk about ASM. Is that when players aren't playing well, they can't just know that they can guarantee get into the team. We talk about Lascelles as well. Lascelles for me is fit shouldn't be starting because Fernandes and Clark have been playing well together. You see Clark and Hayden doing a good job right now. We need these players on their toes, no matter how good they are, no matter how influential they are to our team. They need to know that they have to train hard every day, that they have to play well for 90 minutes on a Saturday if they're going to get into this team. And if you do that, what you're going to get is better performances. And you're going to get better performances that are going to get us better results. And that's just the reality of it all. I'm a massive Dubravka fan. I'm not a massive Darlow fan. But as I said after the Palace game, if you get me the option of who I would have when Dubravka's fit in a couple of weeks' time, I'd have Darlow starting because he's shown this season that he deserves to be the number one at the moment and being in the team. And that's what it's all about. There's no point having players in the squad and telling them, yeah, you're going to get a chance, and they get one chance, play really well, and then back on the bench the next week. What's that doing to the players on the fringes for their morale? It's a team squad game, and we all need to be putting in 110% in order to be showing that we're capable of playing at this level. So that's just my sort of ASM Richie point of view. But just go back to the pressing stats that you put out a while ago. Am I surprised at Newcastle at the bottom? No, because we talked about they're there. It's there for all to see. But we talked about it a little bit during the Chelsea game, and I said about how we were just sitting in two banks of four, and there was no pressing. They could literally get halfway into our half of the field without even being pressed for the ball, and so that for me was a classic example of why those stats are the way they are. What we've done today has been different. We've been pressing that defence, that shaky defence, and we've been making them make mistakes. And like Zubair and one or two others have said on the chat today, we cannot afford to sit back and allow West Brom to have opportunities or to even feel their way into the game. In my opinion, they shouldn't have got to 40 minutes right now and still be at 1-0. Because all that's doing is giving them confidence. All it takes is for one mistake, one slip up, one skid off the wet grass into the net, and it's going to completely change the dynamics of this game. We have played the better football. We have looked more likely to score. But at 1-0, it's still wide open. And until we get that next goal, nothing is certain. And that's the worry, is that the longer this game goes on, the more that they start throwing men forward. And bear in mind, we've got training pocket for 2 weeks. The more that we start to fatigue and tire, it's going to allow them to get back into the game. And we just cannot afford for that to happen whatsoever.
Yeah, it's 41 minutes on the clock. Newcastle still winning 1-0, but West Brom, it does have to be said, are coming back into it. Had a couple of shots at Darlow's goal towards the Gallagher end. So yeah, we do need another goal. There's no doubt about that. Lots of comments coming in. Barry's asking if we've had time to discuss the Luke Edwards takeover story. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do that. Spenny, what was your thoughts on the latest takeover crack from Luke Edwards? He's gone a bit cold on Henry Morris now, and seems to think that there will be a takeover with the Saudis. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting, as I say. It caused a bit of a stir on social media last night, and with Ashley's plane, circling Riyadh.
Looks like I'm more confident the weeks go by. Tell you the truth, what I'm saying. There's nothing negative coming out, really, is there? At the moment, Liam's come out with that article after Tuesday night. I read that, and it seems as though it's just a matter of time, I think, that everything's going to be finalised. The way it's being portrayed, especially him coming out of it, because he's been negative from the start, hasn't he? Really, against the takeover.
It certainly hasn't exuded any confidence. Newcastle really playing with fire here. West Brom came close again. Luckily, the centre forward put the ball miles wide as I watched the replay. But yeah, I mean, look, we're letting them back into it, and West Brom certainly won't keep missing. Just got to hope Newcastle can get a goal. Gallagher causing Newcastle all kinds of problems. Sean, the takeover talk continues, and Spanny's right. It has been a bit more positive from some of those people who, it has to be said, haven't really fancied this takeover.
Yeah, and I've been reading the takeover talk. It's not just now; it's been over the last 18 months, really. And then it gets a bit draining, to be honest with you. It depends how much heart and how much emphasis that you want to put on it. I know where I was last time when the takeover was meant to be going through. I was walking. I was really excited, and then about a month later, it all fell apart again. So I've been here before, and I'm sure we all have, time and time again. The reports look positive. Apparently, it's not going to be going through PIF now. It's going to be going through someone else who isn't part of the sovereign state. Look, I'm going to be as happy as everyone else if the takeover goes through. Will it go through? I haven't got a fucking clue, to be honest. It's one minute it's on, 1 minute it's off, then it's back on, then it's back off. It gives me some hope that Mike Ashley wants to sell. And I think that's the main thing from this. With going to the Premier League, and the stipulations over there's the chance of West Brom. No, it's gone for a corner. There was stipulations of why the last takeover didn't come through. I know the chairman of Sheffield United came out yesterday, and he can understand why the takeover hasn't gone through. So there is voices coming out. I don't think the Premier League want to take this to court. There's signs that it could be going through by January. I think the biggest hope I have is the players that we currently have. Would they be playing for Newcastle if a takeover wasn't going through? I mean, there's been some shit football for the last year and a half, and there's got to be something there that's keeping Saint-Maximin there. So am I dubious about it going through? Of course I am, because we've been here time and time again. Will it go through? I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up, because I've got to have my hopes up time and time again, and they've just fallen away at the last minute. So yeah, I don't really care anymore. I lost all interest. I'm being completely honest.
Keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith. For me, I've been 100% all the way through the process, and Mark Byers pointing out that DeMarco's been tweeting about his links to Newcastle again. I'm very positive. I do feel it'll go through, and it'll be great if it goes through in time for the January transfer window. So it will be a case of watch this space as Newcastle United take a half-time lead then, 1-0 at home to West Brom. Miggy Almiron with a goal after some great build-up play from Callum Wilson and Joe Linton. And Steve Bruce, I think, and more people, Donald Bain in particular, said that there needs to be a half-time rocket up the players' backsides. And I would say so, yes. And Dr. Rockda says, what is going on? We have gone to sleep. It's 1-0, Ian Dixon. That is your question answered. Martin, half-time then. what's your analysis of that first half?
Just interesting. Goal was timed at 19 seconds. So Sky have confirmed that was 19 seconds for us to go 1-up. Apart from a couple of flashes of some decent passing and a half chance from Joe Linton, I don't think we've done much in the last 25, 30 minutes. I think we've been a little bit static. We invited West Brom on, played a bit deeper. We've not been able to get the ball out of feet. But they're there for the taking. I just don't understand why we've not gone for the jugular. We seem to get the goal. I mean, maybe the players were as shocked as we were that we scored as early, and they haven't adjusted to it. But last 20, 25 minutes, I would say West Brom have had more possession than we have. They've certainly had a couple of chances. And I think, as Pete said, if we keep pushing back and playing deeper, we're going to invite them on. So I think we do need a bit of a chat at halftime. I think we need to come out all guns blazing second half and see, just go at them. I don't think they've got anything massively to trouble us. I think they're there for the taking. Chris is really putting me off running.
I'm just hoping.
I could just see his head go back.
I'm pleased he's got nice
I'm just hoping. I'm hoping he doesn't get knocked over. He keeps looking down. I'm more worried about his own personal health. He keeps looking down at the screen, and I'm expecting to just see him getting catapulted into the air by a bus or something. He's never mind.
I don't know. Spenny put up it's Annika Rice, but I
Stop
tell you
the clock.
Annika Rice has never looked as rough.
Brilliant, great.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think we can go at them. I think we need to go for the jugular. I think they're there for the taking. As Spenny said, these are the teams we need to be taking the 3 off. We're not guaranteed to get anything off the other teams. Where we may have done a couple of seasons ago. So go at it. Go at it like a rocket in the second half and go and get the 3-1, the 4-1 that the Shane and the guys have all been talking about. Go out there and let's get it. We're sitting back and they're there for the kill.
Okay, Chris, you're live. You're out and about. If you want to unmute and give us your opinion of the place that you're going to, or what's the weather like in London? Because you haven't seen any of the games, so we'll kind of ask you about that.
Let's get a weather report.
Well, I haven't seen the match so far, but following your guys' commentary, I had to agree with Martin that it seems like, apart from the first minute goal, we're sort of out of sorts. On sort of, if we hadn't gotten lucky off the bat, then we might be playing behind. But so hopefully we can sort it out second half. They've figured out what they're trying to do with an opponent that they should beat easily, and hopefully better organized in the second half.
Okay. Mark Bayer says your backside isn't as nice as Annika Rice's. Dave Harrison says he's just knackered watching you, Chris.
I might do the treadmill next week.
My backside. I don't know what you're talking about.
You probably don't know about the Annika Rice program. It was called Treasure Hunt many, many years ago, where basically she had to get to this money pot, being guided by people in the studio. So yeah, it was a good old fashioned English program. Anyway,
I'm like the running man.
Yeah, you like the running man. Yeah, okay, Rich. First half analysis.
Taylor two halves in the first half. I think we came out of the blocks on fire. The battling from Wilson to get the space to put Joy. To be fair, I don't think we've seen probably a better through ball by anyone on in the squad this season. It just, as I said earlier on, dissected the 3 defenders, took them all out of the game, and then it was a lovely finish by Almiron. Joe Linton seems to be a bit more confident. He's had a few more efforts at goal. Possibly could have been a bit more unselfish and put the ball through to Longstaff earlier on. But I think once we got to about the halfway mark in the second half, I think it was around when that little argy-bargy was when Lewis got booked. It seems to be since then. West Brom have lifted them the game since then. Newcastle pressed quite well in the first half of the half, but after then we were on the back foot. And going back to your boxing analogies, we seem to be on the ropes for that for the second half of that home. Wanting that bell to go for the half time, as you would say. But we've just got to Bruce has got to give him a rollicking, whether he's capable of giving him a rollicking at half time, as we know he likes to be mates with them all. They do need a foot up the backside. Tell them to go and kill this game off. You look at the fixture we've got coming up after Christmas. We've got Liverpool and Man City. I can't really see us getting points off that, so we really, really need to take the maximum points out of a team like this. Put a bigger gap between the bottom three and ourselves. So yeah, we just got to go out there, attack them more like we did in the first half of the half, and just make sure of those 3 points.
Yeah, okay. Al-Walid, what's your analysis of that first half as the Sky pundits talk about the fact that Newcastle are 1-0 up?
It looks like Steve Bruce, he didn't believe that we score a goal. I don't know why. I think we are playing very much just depend on the counter attack. I wish if we just we consider the game is still 0-0 and continue playing. We can't just depend on a goal we score from first minute. I notice also, even if we go forward, we're missing the player who coming from behind. It's the most dangerous tactic ever, is the player coming from the behind. And the counter attack, we didn't have that. Actually, we see Wilson, Wilton. They are the one who is in the back. So I'm a little worried about very focused on defense. Like we didn't want to make mistake, but you can do much better and forward, especially with West Bromich Albion. I think he's not. I think he's number 17th. I think in the standing table. So definitely they want the game. So they will fight. They have nothing to lose. They will try to attack us as we see many times. So we need to focus on scoring second goal right away.
Okay, Pete, give us your analysis of the first half, mate.
I think Michael Ridges said on Sky, I think he just made it very, very clear and obvious, is that when we've got the attacking players, we just need to believe and attack and show our ability. But who's the guy to guide us to give us that belief and that knowledge that we can go and attack the teams? And that's Steve Bruce. It's quite clear that we've got the ability to really hurt West Brom today, and we've shown it more than 1 or 2 times, 3 or 4 or 5 times. We've shown it that we can really hurt them when we go forward. And we just need to have that little bit more belief that we can attack. The amount of times in that first half that we've got the ball in wide areas, and instead of looking at their fullback and attacking them and trying to get a ball into the box down the wing, we've then turned back and played the ball backwards to a centre-back or a fullback. That just shows the lack of belief in the team right now. When we get the ball, we're looking more for the safety pass rather than the risk and the risk and the potential reward of taking on a man and getting the ball into the box. And that's why, going back to the point that we talked about with the Richie and the Saint-Maximin, that's why Saint-Maximin is so crucial, because he will do that. He's one of the only players in the team that will get the ball and will look to attack his fullback and look to attack the defender and really put them under serious pressure. We've got players, Almiron, we've got Lewis, we've got Richie, we've got Shelby, we've got Joe Linton and Wilson. We've got players that have the ability and the pace to really attack defenders, but we haven't got the belief there. And really, that should come from the manager. Steve Bruce should be saying that exactly that half time. Have the belief to, when you get the ball, go at the man, attack him. Their defence are not the fastest; they're actually pretty slow, and we've got the pace to really hurt them. Let's do it. Why not? So that's been the disappointing thing, is that we said it after 20 seconds, is that we don't want to just sit back on it, and I feel like we have this first half, and I feel like we've really lost an opportunity to kill this game in the first half. How we set up in the first 10 minutes of the second half will give us an idea of how the next 45 is going to go. But we cannot be giving them chances like Gallagher had just before half time, because that there, even though they missed it and they should have missed it, is going to. They're going to walk into that dressing room with a little bit more confidence at halftime, thinking if we just get one more chance, we'll put it away, and we can't afford to do that. I think defensively we've been good for the most part. I think considering we've got Hayden at centre back, it's like he's always been a centre back. He's been fantastic at the back there, and him and Clark have been really, really solid. So we just can't afford to slip up. We can't afford to fall asleep for any second, because if we give them an opportunity to get back into this game, it'll be an absolute shambles to do that.
Yep, Steve Beckworth says someone needs to tell Lewis which way we are kicking and count on one hand the amount of times he has passed forward. That's something that Martin brought up about Lewis a little bit earlier as well. And the fact that essentially he doesn't seem to get across the halfway line. I've always said about players doing that kind of thing, though, that they are clearly being instructed to do that. Steve Bruce will be telling them what he wants them to do.
Yeah.
And, I don't believe that Lewis would want to do that. I think, looking at Lewis at his previous club, he liked to bomb on, he liked to get forward. That was one of the reasons I thought would sign him. But unfortunately, it's that old thing, isn't it? He's been bruised. Go on, Pete.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think you're absolutely right with that, and I know Martin mentioned it as well. But I believe honestly that we haven't seen that from Lewis, purely because we've had Saint-Maximin playing down that left-hand side. And I think he's so worried that if he gets forward and bombs on, that we're going to be exposed at the back, because Saint-Maximin isn't going to get back to defend. He's got the right man playing alongside him today in Matt Ritchie that will give him the license to get forward. I'm really surprised that Bruce has not been telling him to say, right, go and attack their right back, go and force him back, go and try and get those balls into the box. Because his delivery is exactly what the likes of Callum Wilson needs today. And I'm really disappointed. I mean, look, let's face it, he was great to watch last season at Norwich, but you remember how many goals Norwich conceded because of exactly that. And you look at Leeds last night, for all their impressive attacking or attack-minded play, all of their goals come from full positions that they concede, because their guys bomb forward so much that they're just completely exposed at the back. So, I think it's a learning curve for Lewis. He's got to try and balance it out. But in games like today, there's no reason why he can't be looking to go all out back and really get those balls into the box, knowing that he's got Ritchie to just sit in behind him and protect.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. 1-0 to Newcastle at half-time. Miguel Miron with the goal. Jason Carter was asking Spenny what we thought of Joe Linton in that half. He seems to be maintaining his good run of form.
I think he's had a kind of game himself. He's not the best I've seen him play. Even better than the Crystal Palace game for me. He's unlucky for that shot when he didn't get across. He should have passed it to Wilson and that there. But I think this match for us is crying out for Matty Longstaff to come on in that midfield. A bit of grit in midfield, like we said, like a David Batty type of player. I think Matty Longstaff will change this game and we'll get a couple of goals in it. For me.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Hall makes an interesting point. He's just saying that Bruce brings Gale on. I think him and Wilson, with their pace, spinning off their men with Shelby, picking the passes, could cause West Brom all kinds of problems. Charlie Austin is warming up. Thanks for that, Chris. Get well soon, mate. Sean, Joe Linton, he's put a good shift in again, first half.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good shift. And I think the thing that worries me the most about this second half is the halftime team talk by Steve Bruce. Depending on what he says, we could either come out in the first half, come up for the second half like we did for the start of the first half, or we could go really defensive. So that worries me a little bit. I don't think Steve Bruce inspires much encouragement in the technical advice that he provides at half time. So what the style of play is going to be like coming up for the second half is going to be somewhat interesting. In terms of Joe Linton, yeah, he had a good first half. He started well, but just like the team, we kind of faded out of the first half by the second phase of it, really. Just looking at the comments that are coming across your screen, should Dwight Gale come on? I think if it stays the way it is, we probably need to push further up the field. But at the moment, it's 1-0. West Brom have had chances, somewhat half chances, but the second goal in this game is going to be crucial to the result of this match.
Yeah, West Brom subs. Charlie Austin is indeed on, as is Kieran Gibbs. So a little bit of change there from West Brom. We'll see how that affects the state of play. We need that second goal, I think, more than ever. Martin. Yeah, Joe Linton has played better, mate. He's, we've covered this on the show before. He's obviously got a goal as well, and today would be good to see him get on the score sheet again. Try and get that second goal that we need.
Yeah, he's definitely upped his game the last couple of games. I know, a lot of us on the panel give him a lot of stick when he doesn't play well. Like, we don't want him to fail. Like, I don't think any of us want him to fail. We've spent a shitload of money on him, but we want him to give effort. And I think that was, as we've said in other shows, the problem was last season was he wasn't making the runs. He wasn't getting into the box. He wasn't making an assist. He wasn't getting the odd goal. He wasn't trying. He wasn't giving it the effort. This season, he's changed. He's changed his game around. He's playing a little bit deeper. He's coming in from that left, or he's playing just as a 10 behind a striker. And he seems to be a bit more relaxed. I agree with some of the comments. I think Funko Freddy put up there, he lets himself down with the wrong decision. But, that'll come with time. He's still a young lad. And, when he sees the two posts up the front, sure, lads, come on, he's not gonna pass it off. Why would he? I wouldn't. So I can get that. I think we need to pick up the play. Maybe, I think Spenny's right, maybe Matty Longstaff. I'm not sure we've gotten too much from Sean in the first 45 minutes. So maybe give it 10, 15 and bring Matty on. See, can we get a bit more in it, a bit more pace. But again, the game's there for the taking. I'm not overly happy with Charlie Austin coming on from then, because look, he's a proven goal scorer. He's had his injuries, but he still knows where the net is. So I think we can't be as complacent as we were first half and letting them get down the pitch a bit further. So look, game on. It's there to be won. But again, as Shane said, like if we only stick at 1-0, they've always got a chance in the game. Mika Richards at half time, the chat was about what Newcastle can do. And even Roy Keane said, like, you look at the goal, 20 seconds. That's how they can play. It's about belief. And Mika Richards said exactly the same. They can play. Almiron can get into good positions. Joe Linton can score. Newcastle can win games. It's about belief. And it's 100% right.
Yeah, good point. Second half is now kicked off, and Barry's asking who was on the bench. I'll just flag that back up again. Langley, Longstaff, Carroll, Gale, Hendrick, Yedlin and Murphy are on the bench, Barry. Newcastle winning 1-0. Mark Byers, thanks for the donation, mate, towards the show. Much appreciated. Funko Freddy, good afternoon. Good to have you back, mate, and hope things are well with you. Richie, Joe Linton, done well in the first half, mate. He's continuing, like I've said, he's continuing a good run of form at the minute.
Yeah, you got your 10-game review out the way. That's why, I think, wasn't it, really, to be fair, mate?
Well, to be honest, I give him the lickings of a dog, which I thought was right. He was absolutely rank useless, and look at him. In the last few games, he has turned a corner, and you've got to give praise when praise is due. And as I think Martin put it brilliantly there, none of us wanted him to fail. You don't want him to fail. You want him to be a success. He's a £40 million striker, for God's sake. And, it's great to see him actually starting to gel with other players and start to show that he has actually got some ability,
Oh, yeah, definitely. I thought the only problem is for Joe Linton, he was never a number 9. He should never have been signed as a number 9. You can tell he's much better as, a second striker or off behind or either side of. He's looked a lot better the last couple of games, a bit more confidence in himself. Yes, it was a lucky finish, deflected finish against Palace, but who cares? He won't care about that. It'll give him the extra confidence he needs. You look at that. We said it. All of us have said previously that ball for Almiron just, it split the whole of the West Brom defence in two. You don't try balls like that if you're not confident. You'd probably try to hold on to it, lost it like he did earlier on in the season. So that goes to show he's mentally in a better place. He just needs to keep doing that. The link-up play with him and Wilson seems to be going...
Goal, West Brom.
Oh, I'm a little bit behind, so I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately.
West Brom, cracking ball in, Richie skinned, or Kraft skinned, and super cross in, and Durrell just volleys the ball into the left-hand corner.
The annoying thing is, like... Oh, sorry, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just going to say what a finish that was, Sean, by the way. It was a really good finish.
Jamal Lewis absolutely flummoxed, doesn't even know where the player is behind him.
This was coming from a mile off. And with the substitutions that West Brom brought on at half-time with Kieran Gibbs and Charlie Austin, it wasn't like they were planning on sitting back and defending for the next 45 minutes. And
that's a cracking finish.
And it's been coming. Steve should have noticed this was coming, and it's just a tactical fuck up, isn't it? Once there's nothing was other word for it.
Jamal Lewis, a noisy young kid, but he's completely at fault there. The cross is coming in. He's slightly badly positioned, but as it comes in, there's no call from anybody else around him to say man on. And Durrell's coming in at pace, gets in front of him quite easily, and hits in fairness, it's an excellent finish. But there's no shout there. Like how's a midfielder there, Longstaff or Shelby? How are they not seeing that ball, that player running into the back line of the defence there? I don't get that at all.
There's too much ball watching. Everyone just stood there and watching Furlong just came in, attacked the ball. But I tell you what, Richie absolutely rollicked Lewis then. I don't know if you saw, as soon as that ball hit that net, he turned round and he told him what for. But the problem is that someone should have told him before that there was a man coming in and to watch it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Longstaff and Shelby are surely seeing that ball, Rich. Yeah. They're 10 yards off that. So how are they not seeing? So there's Shelby there. Shelby's looking directly at Lewis. And watch how far Durrell runs. There's Richie. Yeah, you can see Richie giving out to him. Like, there's Shelby just going, who's looking at the ball? He's looking straight at that play.
I think the annoying thing is, it isn't like West Brom is scoring loads and loads of goals. Looking at some of the statistics, they've scored 3 goals in the last 8 games. So it's just not good enough, is it?
We're not controlling the middle of the park again now. We're losing that central piece again. So we're not competing for ball. We're stepping up. We're not stepping into the play. So there's the West Brom player here now. He's running 2 yards into our play, and we're not getting into anything here at all.
No, just controlling the midfield completely.
Who's got like a cow or something in the sitting room?
That's me.
Is it?
Yeah. I've got a puppy, and he's getting very aggy.
What is it?
It's a Jack Russell, and he's getting really, he sounds pissed off, doesn't he? He's probably watching the Newcastle game.
Fantastic. Okay, Newcastle United 1, West Brom 1, and I think we all knew it was coming. It's just it's a shame, but Steve Bruce doesn't have a plan B, does he, Al-Walid?
That's what I was saying. We just act like it's a miracle. We score a goal. We should continue in playing, not just depending on the goal.
Come on, hit the fucking thing. Sorry.
We hope we learn this mistake. Hopefully, inshallah, we will score now, and hopefully we continue playing, not just leaning on the defense for 90 minutes. It's not make sense. We are a better team.
Yeah, it's not good at all. It's West Brom are bottom. I think one of the stats that came up on Sky there, I've just managed to capture. This shows you what West Brom tend to do in games. It's there were goals in this first half, 6 goals in the second half, 2. This is this season. Shots on target 22, second half 13, goals conceded 8, second half 16, shots faced 77, 96 in the second half. So, I mean, this team really is there for the taking, isn't it, Rich? But, Newcastle done what Newcastle do, and that's unfortunately, let them back in. They sat back and they've let them back in.
I think if it stays like this much longer, I think we're going to have to make some changes. I'd like to see how fit Dwight Gale is, because I think playing possibly him and Wilson up front with the pace that they've both got, it should terrorise that back line. Ivanovic, yes, he's been a good international player in the back, but he's aging now, so I would expect those two to torment them, because he won't be able to keep up with them. But we've got to start taking the chances. As I said it after we scored the first goal, we've got to go and attack them. We can't just sit back like we did against Man United and try to protect a 1-goal lead, which, as again, we haven't been able to do. They've been much the better side for probably the end of this first half and the start of the first 10 minutes of this half. We just look all at sea at the minute. So we definitely need to make some changes. Get someone in the middle, possibly be moving Richie in the middle, as you mentioned before, Steve. Get him on the ball. Just break the play up and give it to the attacking players, the more flair players who can do something for us. But I definitely think that some changes need to be made.
Yeah, definitely. Chris, it's 1-1 now, and Newcastle back under pressure again by West Brom.
Yeah, like I said, they sort of had a good start to the, a best possible start to the first minute of the match, but they've sort of been outmatched, outplayed since then. I'm looking for some leadership from Richie and Shelby out there without Lascelles, and it does seem like there's kind of breakdowns in the defense. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's because Lascelles is out, but it's interesting to sort of see how they line up when he's not in the lineup and kind of reshuffle. But poor play there from Jamal Lewis. Like everyone else has said, he should have been warned off that there was a man in hot pursuit, because he was sort of lackadaisical and sort of playing that ball, and the West Brom player got to him before.
Okay. It's no plan B at all, Pete, is there?
When is there ever? But look, let's face it, there didn't need to be a plan B here. They really didn't. We've come out in the second half, and he must have, Bruce, instead of getting these guys up for it and getting these guys saying, right, let's attack these, let's end the game. He clearly must have gone out at half time and said, right, let's shut up shop, because all we've done is sit behind the ball. It's been awful, absolutely awful. And just before the goal, it was really interesting that some possession stats came out that just before the goal, West Brom had 58% possession. I'd be interested to see at any point in this season, in any of their games where they've had 58% possession. And that tells you everything you need to know. We were winning 1-0 at the time. We had the emphasis in terms of attacking play, and yet we've allowed this team to get back into the game. Right? They're here for the taking. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that they're even level with us right now. They have been awful. They would not get away with this against any other team in this league. And we're allowing them to make them. We're actually making them look good. And they're the ones counter-attacking us right now. We're all over the place.
Yeah,
honestly,
Chris Collins.
The next goal, I can see it coming from West Brom.
Yeah, Chris Collins says, just a flying visit to say this is utter dross. Not sure on the first half. It was better, Chris. The first half was better. Newcastle were in complete control, it has to be said, until the last 10-15 minutes. Brucey has obviously worked his magic at half-time and reinstalled the desire for Bruce Ball. How things can change with one goal. Spenny, what would you do to change it, mate? Dwight Gale's on the bench. Matty Longstaff's on the bench. We've got options. What would you do?
I'll put Matty on. I'll put Gale on. Yes, I would. Joe Linton's just walking about and just know what to do again. He's gone back to where he was again. After his first half brilliant display, he's gone back to normal. Heads are dropped because we've scored. Simple as that. Get that Matty on. Get Longstaff off. Get Gale on. Get Joe Linton off. That's what it should be. Even put Murphy on maybe as well. Because Albion got the game again, hasn't he? Murphy's doing well the last 2 games before this game. He's been man of the match. Get Murphy on.
Okay. Over to you, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew it was coming, and the half-time by Steve Bruce, the team talk, I kind of knew we would falter away in the second half. I mean, this is the team that came out and scored in the first 20 seconds, so the players on the pitch can score. It's just turned to utter shite. And I don't know why. As someone pointed out, I think it was Pete, with like West Brom in the first half, at 57% possession for a team that played 10 games and only picked up 6 points. I think it's terrible. Do we need changes? I think the heads have dropped. Callum's just on the break. He's playing against 2, so is he going to get a shot away? He's done a turn. He's going to cross it in. No, he's played for a corner. So that's all right. See, that's the sort of stuff. I think we can score another goal with the players that we have on the pitch. Murphy's probably unfortunate not to get a start. I think he's been one of the bright spots for this season. If Dwight Gale's on the bench as well and he's fit, I think he should come on. Joe Linton's head's dropped a little bit. I think there's still a lot of time. There's still a third of the match left here. I think we can get a goal. But if we keep inviting West Brom onto us, it's only a matter of time until they get the second goal.
Yeah, Newcastle have a corner. We'll stay with this for now as Richie stands over it at the Gallagher end, whips it in with his left foot. It's a good one, but it's cleared by the West Brom defence. Falls on the edge of the box to Sean Longstaff, who takes a shot. Nice shot, straight into the hands of the keeper. Never thought I would say this after the first 20 seconds. I can see us losing this, unfortunately. We need the takeover ASAP and a capable manager, says Jibby Jive. Mark Byers says, I'm sure Steve Bruce's half-time tea talk just consists of a giant garlic-stinking kebab belch. Interesting. Big shout out to Max Patterson. Good afternoon, Max. Hope you're fitting well on this Saturday afternoon, and I'm going to say enjoying the second half. It's another nervous second half watch. Donald Baines says Joe Linton is a passenger at the moment. Sadly, I would have to agree. Into the second half, he did do well in the first half. I keep flicking to Rocket Ronnie in the snooker. Better to watch than Bruce Ball, says Paul Gibson. Ian says West Brom have confused Bruce as he would have defended 1-0 down as West Brom again push forward. It's nervous stuff this at the moment as we hit the 63rd minute and Newcastle and West Brom still 1-1. Martin, what are you going to change, mate? Steve Bruce still hanging on. No substitutions here. We need a change.
Yeah, I think, I said there with the goal, Lewis was at fault for it. He was. But, look, he's young and learning. There was players around him. I think the biggest problem we've got at the minute, they put up the amount of touches there for Gallagher for West Brom there. And he's all over the midfield, all over the pitch. He's a rake of touches. The problem we've got is our midfield's non-existent. It's not there. Shelby's doing nothing. Longstaff is doing nothing. We're not winning no ball. I'd be interested to see the tackle stats again, because we've not put too many crunching tackles into midfield. We've not won any real significant ball that set up any play. We are trying to get down the wings, but just midfield, I think we just absolutely struggling midfield. So I don't know. Maybe Spenny's right. Maybe we need to bring Matty on, maybe a bit younger legs. I think, interestingly, when obviously Wilson when we broke down the right-hand side there, Wilson got in towards the corner flag. There was absolutely nobody busting a gut to get up towards the goal. Shelby was actually 60 yards back along with our midfield. And, it was Miggy and Joe Linton then that eventually got into the box. Wilson shrugging his shoulders going, where is everybody? So to me, it looks like some players look like they're blowing out their backsides already. So, maybe we need to get Gale on, get Joe Linton off, get Matty on, get Sean off. Do you take Lewis off, maybe bring Yedlin on, push Richie a bit further up, maybe? Switch Richie to midfield, bring Murphy on, possibly. But, yeah, he needs to change it now. 65 minutes. Next goal is the winner in this game for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Al-Walid, it's not good. 1-1 now and 65 minutes on the clock. West Brom look the more likely to get a winner.
We still have time, and I think West Bromwich they will be tired early.
Right to
They
the
will
right.
be tired soon, more than Newcastle. So I wish if just maybe we need fresh legs in the midfield to get advantage of low stamina of West Bromwich expected in coming 10 minutes.
Okay, Richie, it's one of those situations again where Newcastle are making hard work of something that should have been very easy. What would you do to change it?
I don't know what to float out with the rest of the lads. But,
God.
Everyone's I'm doing like for like swaps and stuff like that. I think Lewis is probably needs a bit of a breather. I would probably put Richie back at left back. But everyone's talking about like for like swaps. How about if we're the three up top? Take off Joe Linton, take off Shelby because Shelby seems to be walking around that midfield. Take Lewis off as well. So I would take Joe Linton, Lewis, and Shelby off. Bring Matty Longstaff into the middle. Put Richie at left back, as I said, and then I'd put Carroll up top and have Wilson and Gale off either side of them, bit of pace either side to terrorise them. Don't know if anybody else would think about going for that, but I'm just trying to think about it because we do need to win this game. We do need to take 3 points out of this game, and I think just having 3 possible, attackers at top is probably one of our better ways of actually getting there.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, what's your take on that? You're on mute, mate. You're on mute.
It's been poor second half. I want to see changes. I want to see Gale come on for Joe Linton. Yeah, I'd put Matty Longstaff on. See what he can do in this match. Shelby just kind of seems to disappear when he's not doing the Hollywood passes. So if we could substitute him, it'd be great. But it seems like typical Newcastle that they seem to struggle against the bottom 3, against the promoted sides when the teams that they should be beating they have problems with. And I don't know if it's brief setup or motivation, but or the lingering effects of the COVID illnesses. But it just seems like they're out of sorts and kind of need to get crack the whip and take the reins of this game.
Okay, Pete, what's your take? What would you do to change it, mate?
If I could take both centre midfielders off, I would. But to tell you what, Longstaff and Shelby have just been coasting this second half. They have done absolutely nothing. And their work rate, they might be tired, maybe so, but their work rate has been shocking. Their recovery run has been non-existent, and we've been overrun in midfield, and that's why they've been getting some joy because the midfield has been well overrun. I'd get both of the midfielders off if I could. I actually think Kraft is getting beaten far too often down our right hand side. So
Lewis off and Gale on.
To be fair, Lewis has had an absolute shocker today. He's been awful. In a game that we would have expected him to really excel, he's been really, really poor today. But he was at fault for the goal. Doesn't matter how young you are. I'm sorry, you defend that ball better. Don't stand there and wait for the ball to drop in the 18-yard box. It's absolutely criminal as a defender to allow that ball to drop into the box. He knew the ball was coming. That was the whole point. He doesn't need to be told. He's looking face on at the ball and he can see the ball's coming. So rather than wait for it to land on your foot, you attack the ball with your head or with your body and you get the ball out. That's what a defender does, whether you're a full-back or a centre-back. So for
thing
me,
is, if you look at Shelby there,
he is costing us that goal today. He doesn't need to be shouted. He doesn't need to be shouted. He doesn't need to be told. He's looking face on. He knows the ball's coming to him. It doesn't matter whether there's a man there coming into attacking from behind or not. When that ball comes in, and there was at least 5, maybe 10 yards between him and the centre back, where that ball lands, he doesn't need to be told to attack that ball. As a defender, you should be attacking that as your natural instinct anyway. That's how it should be. So completely at fault for that goal and deserved to take it off. But yeah, so I'm glad Gale come on. Gale should hopefully change it a little bit. But we need to attack these now. We should be going all out to get this win, because a draw for me is not enough. Not enough against this West Brom team. This West Brom team, and not the side. They're a championship side, in my opinion, and we should be turning these over, no problem.
But if you look at the difference there, Pete, between Shelvey and the lad Gallagher for West Brom, the difference in mortar, and I get there's an age difference, but Gallagher has not stopped running the whole game for West Brom. He's looking for the ball. He's running box to box. He's running through the midfield. Whereas, Shelvey, we know he has and can be and is particularly lazy at times. Off the line. But, where is the energy and where is the engine in Longstaff? Shelvey can play a pass. He can ping you a 30-yard Hollywood ball. But surely we need to put somebody with the legs around him. So if we're not going to get that from from Longstaff, we need to put somebody in there that if Shelvey is going to sit back and not go box to box or go certainly from midfield to front end of the box in the opposition half, we need to have somebody with legs. And we've got neither at the minute. And that's why our midfield is getting caught out. Gallagher is just picking up the ball. He's picking up positions. He's sitting just 10 yards offside of Shelvey, waiting for the ball. As soon as he's getting it, he's got 10, 15 yards to run into. It's just crazy.
If you notice, he's doing all of that, Martin. He's doing all of that, Martin, but he's also getting himself into the box onto the end of chances too. So he's doing everything. Now, look, I think Newcastle loving Shelvey is done now, in my opinion. And I've looked at him this season, and yes, he's still got that ability to play that pass. But you know what? He's not even doing that anymore. If you watch him, if you look at his key passes in games and his passes in terms of defence splitting passes and putting the strikers in on goal, he's not even doing that anymore. He's just not offering. He's not offering what was on the tin when we first signed him. And
you look at the ball he's just played there, Pete.
You could argue the fact that he's
just played a ball there into the midfield. But Shelvey's on the left-hand side of midfield, played a ball and then just stood still. Why is he not moving? Surely the fundamentals of that midfield is pass and move, no? Create space, move into space. Exactly. He's
just playing the game along. You can give a shit. Yeah, just typically Newcastle. Come out of COVID, fucking furlong scores.
It's not good. It's not good to watch the second half. This is typical Newcastle though. We're first half we played well. The game should have been out of sight. This is what we've been watching for the last couple of years under Bruce. A game where we expect we should be winning. You go back to right at the start of the programme, we were all predicting 3-0s, 2-0s, 3-1s. Newcastle play a first half where essentially we should have been 2 or 3-0, open out of sight. We haven't been. We're winning 1-0, and then we go into the second half, and it's as if Steve Bruce has said something in that dressing room which has got everybody's heads down as opposed to heads up. And now we're in a situation where West Brom have equalised and look the more likely to score. It's typical Newcastle. We shouldn't be surprised.
It's typical Newcastle under Bruce. Yes, it is. He's not a motivator. He's demotivated. Come out of there, aren't they? At the end of the day, right, Steve, these conditions here are prime conditions for attacking football. Remember when Keegan used to be manager? What he used to do before the game, he used to walk along the pitch. So the ball zipped across that grass for them attackers to hit the goals in. It's prime for the attacking and goals. We should be 2-3 goals up against the tide like this. It's just Shelvey is just walking about and keep looking on his watch and saying what time it is. So the game's finished or not. It's pathetic. It is.
I missed what Martin said because my signal was off. But Shelby needs to be off now. We need a little bit of legs in here. And you know what? How many times have we been banging on about Matty Longstaff being given a chance? And we know he can score a goal if he gets the opportunity. Throw him on. What could possibly? It couldn't possibly get any worse than what Shelby's producing for us currently at the moment. You know,
I think Bruce has got his favourites myself. He's still like, yeah, him had to go over him. Now he's doing his out with Matty Longstaff because he wouldn't sign that contract till the end of that season. That could be it on the plane. Yeah,
we know that Shelby's one of his favourites because obviously Shelby was on his way out when Rafa was in charge, and Shelby's obviously played a lot of minutes under Bruce. So yeah, we know that he's one of those boys. But actually, Bruce needs to think about points on the board. He needs to think the benefit of the team. And if you're playing Shelby right now at 75 minutes, you either got to play 3 in midfield or you don't play him at all. Because we can't have him not recovering, not tracking back, and not doing enough on the ball.
For me, Pete, he's scared of the substituting there, Shelby, in case he upsets him. That's what's coming.
Benny, you know why that is, don't you? Because he's giving him the captain's armband again.
Yes.
Lascelles has got the armband. He's not there. He's giving it to Shelby. Shelby shouldn't be in the starting 11 full stop. Right? We've said this for a while. If you look at since the halfway through the first half, he has only made sideways passes. Right? He's not. There hasn't been a single forward ball to any of our attacking players since he's been in. And I'll make a prediction now. It'll be the Sean Longstaff that goes off before Shelby. Shelby will not go off because he's given him the captain's armband, which should never have been given to him at all.
Kieran Clark should be captain of that team, or Matt Ritchie. Simple as that.
No, I agree. I agree, Spenny.
No, I agree as well. I'm not a big fan of Shelby, as you guys know. He's not my but it's that frustrating thing. We're all crying out Shane for creativity, but we haven't got anybody else in the team who can play in a creative role. So unfortunately, those 1 good games in 10 that Shelby tends to have is probably why he's still in there. And I also say, again, just from experience, when Rafa was at the club and working with Rafa, that he wasn't a fan of Shelby, and I think it was the whole he could cause an argument in an empty room kind of scenario with Shelby. You know what I mean? And if you're upset Shelby, it can cause massive unrest in the dressing room.
I think the jury's been out for Johnson and Shelby for quite a while. We talked about this last week or the week before for the Crystal Palace game. He's never really hit the heights where he was meant to. He went from Liverpool to Bolton, I believe. He never in the to his potential in the England team either. Attitude problem, as you said, you know him more than me, but from the time when Rafa was there, Rafa didn't like him at all. But the creativity, it is difficult with Alan Saint-Maximin out. He's the only creative midfielder we have. A little bit of a controversial point. I mean, looking at the team we have today, it's basically the team that we had in the Championship, bar a couple of players. And I know that Callum Wilson, he got relegated last year, and Jamal Lewis got relegated last year. I mean, are we better than West Brom? And I think that's a genuine question. Like, how much better than West Brom are we? Because I don't know.
Shane, this game should have been killed off the first 10 minutes, mate. You should have had 2 or 3 goals in them 10 minutes, game over. We'll be bugging about, kicking the ball back all the time. Sorry, Brom, I'm wound up now.
No, that's absolutely fine. But I think we've always overachieved under Rafa, under Steve Bruce last season. I think they've papered over some of the cracks that we have. I mean, there was always an element under Rafa or under Steve that last year we could have got relegated, and this year I think there was a lot of pessimism around the club about whether we might get relegated. We did sign some decent players with Fraser, again got relegated. Wilson got relegated. Jamal Lewis relegated. I mean, there's a losing mentality that's stuck in this starting lineup. Even with Jacob Murphy, he's come on, but he was like Wednesday last year. I mean, are we on par with West Brom. I mean, is 1-1 not a bad result? I mean, we always look at. I mean, Crystal Palace last week or the week before. I know we won 2-0, but we were all over the moon about that. And is 1-1 where we're currently at now as a football club? That's not his question.
All backs off and put 2 bloody subs on. What's that? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, Murphy's on now. Kraft's gone off, Murphy's on.
But with Steve Bruce as well, I mean, we can all have a pop at him, but no one else wanted the Newcastle role. So it wasn't his fault, really. I mean, if it wasn't for him, who else would wanted it? I mean, there's talk about...
Actually went to Poundland instead of the Asbit. Simple as that.
Yeah, but it's not Steve Bruce's fault. I mean, everyone knows he's shit, but it's not his fault he's shit. Well, it is his fault he's shit, but it was actually his fault in the first place. I mean, there's talk about Steven Gerrard coming in, but would he want to leave Rangers right now? I can't see it.
No, he wouldn't.
Absolutely.
He would actually be.
And then you got Eddie Howe. Would he risk his managerial reputation by coming over to us? I don't think so. So even if we got rid of Steve Bruce, and I mean, I don't think he will because he's paid absolute peanuts. But even if we got rid of Bruce, there's no one out there in their right mind who would manage us right now.
No, I think, and you're saying, oh,
Come on!
I love Gael.
Yeah,
That's for you.
I love Gael.
I tell you what, because the debate's been, centred around what was going wrong. We didn't really give the header that Gail had about 5 minutes ago much coverage, but there was a wonderful ball in. Gail rose like a salmon, is John Gibson's favourite saying, and he absolutely rose like a salmon, and the keeper saved it. But this time he got up, a great ball whipped in. Gail, it was actually Murphy, the 2 subs, Murphy who whipped the ball in, and Gail just got up and headed it in. And what a goal that was, by the way. 2-1.
The ball in from Murphy was outstanding.
And
can use another Kimbo phrase without a shadow of a doubt.
I've got to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
The only ball we put in.
Martin, the camera turned to Steve Bruce and he was kissing his lucky clover again, mate.
Do you know what? Steve Bruce can fuck right off. I'll take the win. I tell you, there'll be somewhere else that Clover will be going if he comes over to see me in Daz Shocks. But the ball in, do you know what? To be fair, I actually feel a little bit sorry for Murphy because I think he was unlucky to lose his place. But like that ball in was absolutely, a peach of a cross, like hard to defend, whipped in. Gets to the side, like he doesn't even need to stick his foot out onto it. He just looks up, one touch and in. Gail, we've had this chat about Gail. I think we had the chat about, players we would give new contracts to and players we wouldn't coming up. And I said, I'd give Gail a new contract and got a bit of flack for it. But you know what? He's a proven goal scorer. And I know he's not, prolific, some would say in the Premiership. But he knows where the net is. Like that, he's probably one of the smallest lads on the pitch there. And he's just gone up against the back 4 of West Brom and planted in a header that Sarah would have been proud of.
He shouldn't have won that header, technically.
No, he shouldn't, absolutely, no. But,
he knows the score versus championship.
Wilson Gale partnership now. So I
like Gale, but, I think Jolinton's played well first half. He hasn't played as well second half. But, We've seen substitutions before from Bruce, and to be fair, Spenny, he's brought on a defender, or he's brought on another mid. At least from a point, the first change he made was a striker. So do you give him not credit's probably the wrong word, but like at least it's the right substitution this time. And
you'll get the credit now, won't you? You'll get the credit for putting Gil on the pitch.
Yeah,
Yedlin coming on here now.
Yedlin coming on as well. Yeah, I've got to be honest, lads. I do feel a bit sorry for Slaven Bilic because, look, I obviously want Newcastle to win. But I feel a bit sorry for Bilic. I mean, I think this result, out of all results, could end up being the one that gets him the bullet as well. I would be very surprised if he survives the weekend. And he's one of football's nice guys. We've got a stoppage in play, 84 minutes gone. Austin's took a knock. Basically, Darlow came out and punched the ball away, and as he's reaching for the ball, he's caught Austin as well. Not a foul, nothing deliberate about it. No, it wasn't intentional. But Austin is on the ground and getting a little bit of treatment. He's okay, he's conscious, but slight delay there. And Dwight Gale, showing his goal again there was absolutely fantastic. What a header that was. 2-1 as Steve Bruce gets ready to bring Yedlin on, and it looks like Steve Bruce's he's bringing Yedlin on for Almiron. It looks like Steve Bruce's luck continues.
Whew. Yeah, he's. I don't know what it is that he's got that's lucky, but he's sprinkling it everywhere at the moment. But look, hey, it's not about Bruce for me. It's about making sure that we get the 3 points on the field. And at the moment, we're 5 or so minutes away from doing that. And look, I don't care how we win this game, whether it's 1-1-0, 2-1, 3-0 or whatever, as long as we get the 3 points. The one thing I will say is that the subs were made a lot earlier than normal. And I think that's helped. It's given them time to get up to speed. Because like for any of you guys that have played football previously, you know for a fact coming on as a sub is very difficult, and you need at least 5 or 10 minutes to get up to speed, and it's allowed those players to do that. So fair play from that point of view. Look, it's not been a great performance. It's a little bit like Palace, where we were not really going anywhere, and it's just 2 moments of quality, really. 2 moments of quality delivery, one from Joe Linton for the first goal, and then an outstanding cross from Jacob Murphy for the second. I'll counter that argument from Martin with regards to Gale. I personally would give him another contract, although it was a fantastic goal that he scored today, just because we've had so many players over recent years that have played for us that have shown that they've got ability, that have had ability, that have shown it in glimpses. But if you can't stay on the pitch for 2 or more games without getting injured again and being out for a significant period of time, then it's so detrimental to the squad and
it's kicking off.
team.
It's kicking off.
And I just wouldn't take the risk on him. He's 31 years old now, and if we've got an opportunity of really like going out there and improving the attacking line alongside Wilson with someone that will play regularly, a week in, week out, then I think that's the way to go. In my opinion.
I think the problem is at the minute, Pete. The problem is at the minute is we need him because we don't have any other options.
Of course, and that's why
that would be my point. We've got two-thirds of the season effectively still to go. Are we going to? Is he going to bring in another? Is he going to bring in another striker? See, last night, Josh King's being mentioned. If we're still nowhere near the takeover, we know it's going to be loans. So who's he going to get a hold of? So what are you going to spend on a loan in comparison to maybe giving Gale a 12-month on reduced terms? Gale's probably not going to get a move until summer, and then he'll be going down a league. So maybe is it a swan song for Gale as well? I don't know, but at the minute we need him, and that's the problem we're in.
So sorry, Martin. I actually meant from the summer as in not giving him another contract. Obviously, this season we do need him, and unless we were guaranteed to get a player of someone like Josh King's ability in, then no, I wouldn't get rid of him, because you are right. We need every player we can at the moment, and particularly with the COVID crisis that we have, we're just not in a position to lose anybody. But thinking beyond this season,
I agree with that. Beyond the season, I agree.
I wouldn't keep him, and I'd look for the summer to really kind of strengthen in that area, because we've done this over the Mike Ashley era. We've always had that one striker that's pretty good. That we always kind of like. I mean, you go back to the Denver Bar, the Loic Remy, and one or two others, and it's like, we've always had that one striker that's capable of winning as a game or scoring as a goal. But then we never backed that up. We did with Papi Cisse when we finished 5th and we got into the Europa League. We backed that up, but then soon after, Demba Ba leaves, and then we're back to that one striker again. Why not
Yeah.
have two of those strikers that can get us goals and can cause havoc to defences? Why not strengthen that area and double it up? So if Wilson does get injured, we've got that other striker still to play in the team, and then you've got a third striker to come in maybe. You know, why is it that we're just, you know, we're just hanging on this first 11, and then the squad behind that is just what it is? It's not enough. It's not enough if we want to progress as a team. So yeah, you know, he's done a good job in terms of scoring goals and when he has played, but you know, we need to look long term now.
Yeah, the big question today, lads, is this a smash and grab? And we know me saying smash and grab caused all kinds of problems on social media, and it became a huge debate on the show. But it's
6 minutes. Where's that from?
Yeah, it's a smash and grab for me again. Newcastle second half haven't been at the races, but got out of jail. Yeah, 6 minutes added time. Newcastle 2, West Brom 1. Albion lead. Can we hold on?
I hope, but I have peace with everything. Just I want to know why does he have no substitution defense midfielder like someone to replace Shelby or Longstaff? Yeah, I don't know. He have someone in the bench can replace them.
Yeah, Matty's on there. Matty Longstaff's on the bench, I believe.
Because Longstaff was dragging his foot since 30 minutes. I don't know why.
Punishing Longstaff.
I wish if in the conference after the game, I wish if some journalist ask Steve Bruce why he didn't replace Sean Staff or Shelby in the last 30 minutes, because this is my only concern for right now. And I'm happy with that Gayle first goal in first appearance since he had the injury. I think 3 months or 4 months.
I mean, if you ask that question to Steve Bruce at the end of the game, why didn't you take Shelby off? I mean, the answer is because we're winning.
It's not because he's bad, because just the stamina. They are very tired. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but the answer that he's going to give is because we're 2-1 up. That's the reason he's on.
And 20 minutes before that,
we won once a pace, not when we're winning.
The other thing, I think we defensively, barring Jamal Lewis's error for their goal, I think we look far better defensively. I know Hayden's in there, but when Fernandez is back, we look far better as a back four with Kieran Clark there.
Yeah. He's solid, Martin. That's why.
He's been fantastic. You know what? In this team, in this system, the way we set up is that we need those no-nonsense defenders like your Fede Fernandez and your Clarks that, aren't going to be fantastic on the ball like Lejeune, that can pick a pass and can travel with it and come out with the ball, but are just no-nonsense, that they know their positioning. They know where they need to be when the ball's getting crossed into the box. They can clear the ball, they can tackle, they can organise, and they're just no nonsense. If there's nothing on, bang, they hit the lines and get their wingers to chase the ball down. And you know what? We needed that little bit of experience coming back into the team, especially when Lascelles is really kind of not showing his levels at the moment. And look, when Fernandez is back, Clark slips back in. Him and Clark's are your centre backs, in my opinion. That needs to be the way forward. And Lascelles, captain or not, needs to be told, if you're playing, you need to be performing. It's as simple as that, because he has regressed. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, 3 minutes with 2.5 minutes left of the 6 added time. Rich, Newcastle in control, 2-1 up, and looks like 3 points. Hopefully come on to St James's, which puts us in a really good position in the league and distances ourselves from that relegation battle for the time being.
Yeah, it does. Just going on what we were saying there before about Shelby and Lascelles there, I think that's we mentioned before about them being captain, vice captain. It's sort of, unfortunately, Bruce is going to pick them automatically. They don't deserve to be in the team. Full stop. The pair of them. I like what Martin said. Going forward, Clark's come back from injury. He's looking solid. Fernandez has been solid when he's been playing. So they're automatic first two choice centre halves. Whether Lascelles is club captain or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. I said earlier on about Gale coming on, possibly, that extra bit of pace with Ivanovic at the back. And
why is nobody left, man?
And got the goal. So that's been promised as well. Regards what Martin and Dave were saying about Gale, I'd probably give him a 12-month extension only because of the options that we've got. But I wouldn't give him a long-term contract. It'd be 12 months on top of what he's got. Because he can't actually finish. He's like Wilson. He knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. Whether it's at this level like Wilson does on a week-to-week basis, I don't know. But we know that he can come up with the odd vital goal that he's done. When he's needed to. I think we do need to have a look at the system a bit better and who are actually going to be playing behind Wilson and with Wilson going forward as well. It would be nice to see what Bruce will attempt to do when we've got a fully fit squad and we've got ASM back in the fit. We've got Fraser back in there as well, because there's some of these people who are playing today, obviously, just because of coronavirus, have had to make it. But it'll be interesting to see whether they'd actually make the 18-man squad full stop once we've got a fully fit squad again.
Wilson's
Yeah, good stuff. Chris, about 10 seconds left, mate. Great second half performance by Newcastle.
I was the only one on the panel who was predicting like maybe less than 3 goals and not a clean sheet. So we got the 2-1 that I predicted, but it's been quite a battle to get there.
Game over.
Full time.
I'm pleased with the prediction, but it was a lot of heartburn to get there, and the trains and planes and automobiles.
Camera focused on Almiron going straight down the tunnel for some reason. I'm not sure why. Whether it was just a mistake or whatever. As if we were trying to make some kind of big issue about them storming off. But Newcastle 2, West Brom 1. Newcastle 3 points in the bag. We're just going to go quickly around the panel before we finish and just give us your analysis there, Spenny, of that game and happy with the 3 points.
A bit of a relief, really, because West Brom were coming into the game. I think Murphy changed the game when he came on as well. Cracking goal by Gale. Be lucky win, I thought he might have ended up with a draw. It was good.
Yeah. It's Shane, over to you, mate. 11 points clear of the bottom 3, mate. Going into Christmas. That's all that matters, I suppose, with the takeover still looming.
Absolutely, 11 points clear. We've got a game in hand. Obviously, the game against Villa was called off. If we win the game in hand, we could be up to 5th, which is remarkable, really. Football's a funny old game. Against Palace, we were talking about the same sort of things up until the 90th minute. We didn't look like scoring, but then we got to at the end. Once West Brom scored today, I thought we were going to go on to lose. But hey, 6 points out of 6 over the last 2 games. Very, very happy guy. So, yeah, come on to numbers, mate.
Yeah, great stuff. I don't know why we've got 2 Petes. I've took you off now, Pete. You had 2 devices on. There's only 2 Petes, but now he's back to 1. Okay, Martin, over to you, mate.
Yeah, look, 3 points. As Shane said, we'll take the 3 points, game in hand. Barring the first 20 minutes, I think, second 25 minutes of the first half, we were poor. The attempts tell you, we had 13 attempts at home. West Brom had 14 against us. So the performance wasn't great. Brucey's luck runs again. Second half, we weren't much better. Great goal, great ball in from Murphy. Great goal by Gale. West Brom, to be fair, can probably consider themselves slightly unlucky. But look, 3 points, job done. Again, it's all about results. So we'll take the 3 points and we go again.
Good stuff. Pete, now that you're back in single vision, over to you for your half-time analysis. Your full-time analysis, sorry.
Look, we got the 3 points, and that's what we're here for today. We wanted this to win. It didn't really matter how we did it. I would have liked a better performance overall. It wasn't great for long parts of the game in terms of its viewing. It particularly wasn't, how we thought it might go after 20 odd seconds. But look, we got the win. We could go back to many a game over the last couple of years where we've played like that and lost. So we if you weigh it all up, it's not the end of the world. And look, we're sitting in 11th place, 17 points. We're moving closer to that 20 plus for the first half of the season. Overall, I'm happy we got the result, but the performance will definitely need to be better Wednesday night.
Okay, Al-Walid, people think that chair looks very comfy that you're sitting in. It looks as if does look as if you're sitting in the cinema today. Have you got a cinema room in your back garden or something?
No, just I have different chairs. This is for match day live.
I think it's
mastermind.
I think it's a throne. I think that it'll all be revealed when the takeover goes through. It's actually Al-Walid behind it.
Mastermind.
He actually owns Starbucks. That's why he's not sitting outside there. No product placement today. Go on, Al-Walid, give us your views on today's game, mate.
I'm happy that we when we score at last 10 minutes, that for second game on the row, that means Newcastle have potential on the on winning. They have winning, and they have more to give. But as I said early in the show, Steve Bruce have becoming extra careful. I don't know why, and I really want to. I would try to find out. I expect some will ask Steve Bruce why you didn't put fresh legs on the middle field. Especially, we noticed that they are run out of energy. I mean Shelby and Sean Staff. Same my expectation. I'm happy. I expect 2-1 for Newcastle. Also, I expect the same Wolves and the previous game, Wolves and Aston Villa. Also, I expect to draw. Hopefully, I think Leeds in few days. Leeds game. I hope also to get continue to winning before we playing against Liverpool and Manchester City, and you can see now how we score a goal early, and we defense against West Bromich Albion. What we are gonna do against City and Liverpool?
Okay, good stuff, mate. Yeah, Leeds United, of course, the next game on Wednesday. We will be doing a match day live for that as well. So, bit different on a Wednesday night. Rich, just give us your full-time analysis, mate, please.
It's a funny one because I think if you'd asked any of us before the start of the game, before even the team was put out, if we'd said you get 3 points after what's happened the last few weeks, everyone would have took it. I think when we started and we got up to that 1-0 start straight away within the first 20 seconds, all of us really wanted us to kick on and put them to the sword. That didn't happen, unfortunately, and it's ended up that one bit of quality in the second half has given us the 3 points. Darlow hasn't really had much to do, and defensively we kept them down. Yes, there was quite a lot of long range sight from West Brom, but they never really tested Darlow in that game. So the 2 bits of quality by Newcastle have ended up in the back of West Brom's net. Regards Wednesday, hopefully we'll have a few more people fit. We don't know if that's obviously the outbreak that we've had, whether that's been part of the fatigue within the team. We don't know who was affected, who was actually physically struggling. Maybe this is one of the times when we wish we'd voted for 5 substitutes when the Premier League meeting came around, but obviously one game doesn't make a whole season, and we don't want the top 6, as we know, to have strong opportunities to be strengthened off the bench. So I think it's one of those where, under the circumstances, if it'd been before the start of the game today, would have said we'd have 3 points, we'd get the 3 points, be 11 points clear of the bottom 3. With Leeds on Wednesday night, you would definitely have taken it. It's just a shame, unfortunately, the performance wasn't there after the way we started.
Yep, good stuff, Chris. Last but not least, your views on that hard-earned victory, I suppose, in the second half, but a victory all the same.
Yeah, indeed. I've said before that we need to take maximum points from the bottom three, from the bottom third, and we always seem to struggle against those teams and not get maximum points. But we managed that today. Strong start, strong finish, some dodgy play in the middle of the game, but we came right. Good substitution for bring on Gale. Good to see him healthy. It might be an interesting partnership with Wilson if he's healthy to mix up with Joe Linton. Good result. Sort of seeing how the sausage was made in the middle there, but we got the result that we wanted, and we press on because we need to get maximum points before having that tough festive period facing Man City and Liverpool. So let's hopefully we can continue the momentum against Leeds on Wednesday.
Fingers crossed. Big shout out to newworkwear.com, specialists in the supply and branding of clothing for the workplace. Well done, Spenny. You got in there, mate. I can see you. And they've obviously sponsored the StreamYard application and qtechshop.co.uk. They make us pool tables and snooker tables in the northeast, as well as everything else that we sell for charity. And we've got those wonderful calendars on sale for the food bank, $9.99. All proceeds go to Newcastle's food bank, and they are available on newcastlelegends.com. Also got the Supermac t-shirts and the Supermac mugs. So if anybody wants them, nice little Christmas ideas, then please get on to Newcastle Legends. I think we've just got Pete back again. He's dipped out and dipped in, but here he is. Just your analysis of the game, mate, before we finish.
Yeah, just like I say, we did enough to get the win. Not the best performance overall. I thought, my opinion, as Hayden was fantastic at the back there, considering his position. Really organised defensively, was very, very good. Arguably better than Lascelles in recent weeks. And yeah, it's a game that we don't always win and get 3 points from against those teams in and around the bottom. So it was nice to get 3 points and take us up that table. 17 points onwards and upwards. And we've got another couple of games Wednesday and next weekend where we could potentially target another 6 points. So, it's looking positive at the moment.
Yeah, it is. Great stuff, lads. As always, great show. Good to have you on. Daz, we're doing a worldwide show tomorrow, mate, so hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. And hopefully a few of the lads who were on today will be able to come on at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I'm doing a couple of pre-records as well. We're doing quite a bit of stuff for over the Christmas period. Just to keep those of you entertained who might want your fix of NUFC matters throughout the Christmas period. But big thank you to Shane, big thank you to Spenny.
Oh no!
Bye everyone. We lost him.
Evening, lads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Virgin Bug's gone for
We
you
know our
again.
favorite.
Sorry.
Oh, he's playing the video.
Sorry, guys.
Boys.
It dipped out at the good old Virgin Media. We're doing it. I'm saying we're going to do a worldwide chat tomorrow if you guys are up for it. 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
See you
Okay,
there.
I'll send the links to you. As always, we're promoting Think Before You Tweet. It's our campaign for this month, just asking people to be a little bit night, guys and girls, whatever you are doing, and we will play out with a